Problems on the roadways as far as accidents so far this morning. But for those of you traveling eastbound 24, the milling and paving work still continues this morning. Old Hickory Boulevard south to Almaville Road, and the left two lanes this morning are blocked. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.506 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning to your friends, and it is Wednesday, February 18th. Hope you're doing well. Joan Jones is here. Sam is here as well. I'm here. We're all excited to be here. Joan, so just right off the bat.
Yeah.
ICE facility is not coming to Lebanon.
The ICE facility is not coming to Lebanon.
What an absolute train wreck.
Yes. Yes. And I can't tell who's at fault here, but it looks like every media outlet received confirmation from ICE that there was a facility coming to Lebanon.
Mm-hmm.
And then later on in the day, that was early yesterday, probably right after you left the radio station. And then at some point yesterday, the story changed and they said, we made a mistake.
My phone yesterday was just blowing up.
Yeah.
Because first they were, then they weren't. Then they were, then they weren't.
Yeah.
And I mean, Nick Barris, we talked about this yesterday. Nick Barris even posted that, he had confirmation that they were coming. But that's the question, is who screwed up here? It sounds like it was ICE.
It does sound like it was ICE.
Now, did they mix up Lebanon, Tennessee and Lebanon, Pennsylvania? Is that what happened?
They're not saying that that's what happened. But I mean, that's all we can imagine at this point, which is why, if there's a gap of information, it's going to be filled with all kinds of rumor.
Do you really trust the lay American people to not riot over, a declaration of where something's going to go?
Really interesting. And here's the funny thing, and I played the audio yesterday where that Nashville representative, whose name I can't remember now, but I played all that audio where Bob Freeman.
Yes.
Bob Freeman even gave an interview, and he was under the assumption that the building that he owned was going to be used as an ICE facility. So,
right.
Well, this way the Soros protesters, they can't be bussed in and the hotels booked and everything for them ahead of time.
Nobody's happier than George Soros, because have you seen the hotel prices in Nashville? So now he can save some money for, the protesters.
Yeah.
I'd be willing to bet that hotel prices in Lebanon, Pennsylvania are a lot cheaper than Nashville or Lebanon, Tennessee.
So here's an ICE spokesperson said in a follow-up statement after saying that, yes, the ICE facility is coming. This is the follow-up statement. Quote, ICE has not, in capital letters, purchased a facility in Lebanon, Tennessee. That statement was sent out without proper approval, and this mistake has since been ratified. So there you go.
Never let them know your next move.
I think that's where we're going with this, because I don't know if you got to see any of the coverage last night, but last night Wilson County held a meeting, and people came out and they're doing the shame, shame, shame chant. And, we hope you don't have to explain this to your grandchildren, kind of thing. Very angry residents.
Do you know some people have actually said that to me?
Oh, really?
Oh, because I'm pro-ICE, right?
Yeah.
And I'm pro-mass deportation, and I'm all for getting the criminals out of here. And people have said to me, shame, and how are you going to explain this to your grandchildren? Well, they're a little young, but if they ever asked me my opinion on stuff, I'd be like, oh, absolutely, I was for mass deportation in 2025 and 2026. I was all about it, and I'd give them the real perspective.
Yeah, I was going to say, not the microcosm of incidents we see on national news that everyone gets emotionally triggered about and feels like, well, that's what you support if you're supporting this. And those are such teeny drops in the pool.
Well, and in the history books, it'll talk about, the deaths of Renee Good and Alex Freddie. Yep. And
Did you see the latest person to memorialize him?
No.
Dave Chappelle.
Well, that's not real surprising.
I thought he had some sense about him.
Chappelle does have some sense about him. He does, but clearly he leans left. He, born and raised in Washington, D.C., if I'm not mistaken.
Well,
that's a problem.
Actually went to the sidewalk and everything and, like, put flowers down. Like, he didn't just say something. He catered to the mob.
You know what? If that's what he wants to do, listen, everybody's, entitled to their opinion.
Yeah, that was last night at the Wilson County meeting.
You know, if I had any that's from last night's city commissioners meeting?
Yeah.
I saw the footage of it was the county mayor, Joan, that was up and talking to everybody.
Yes.
He looked terrified.
He did look terrified.
Hutto?
You're right.
Is that Hutto? Is that who he was up there talking? All right. No wonder he didn't return my call. I'm trying to get a hold. Hey, if anybody knows the mayor of Wilson County, Hutto, I've interviewed him, I think, twice. I can't remember his first name, but maybe that's why he won't return my calls. But if anybody knows him, can you tell him that I'm trying to get in touch with him?
Pray for him. People are angry at him for no reason.
Here's the beginning of Channel 4's Braden Ross, her report last night. She went to the meeting.
Do you want this here? If the answer is no, say it.
Resident after resident took to the podium.
And I don't want anyone in Wilson County to have to justify this to their grandchildren.
Most in protest of an ICE facility.
Yeah, there you go.
Who was that whiny-sounding man?
It was some guy with a man bun. Yeah.
Listen, we're not disparaging man buns here. Robbie Starbuck has a man bun.
Oh, okay. All right.
I don't know if he still has the man bun, but he did at one time, and I'm a big admirer of Robbie Starbuck and what he does and what he stands for.
I don't like how Joan was very critical of that just then.
You know what, Joan? Can we be honest?
That was kind of sexist.
Can we be honest? I would admire anyone who can actually have a man bun, because clearly, yes. You know what's so funny? So I did a thing for Channel 5. I don't know if anybody saw this. I did a thing for Channel 5 on the death of Aaron Stokes.
Yeah.
And they had Murphy's show on there, and they interviewed Matt with his glorious hair. And then they interviewed me on Zoom. And I forgot to wear a hat.
Oh, yeah.
And so all I can focus on this Channel 5 hit, and, it's a serious topic with the death of Aaron Stokes, and we were, singing his praises and so forth. But, all I can notice on my Zoom hit, which was all of about 4 seconds, is the big vein running on the side of my head. I look like Frankenstein.
Stop.
I do.
You don't look like Frankenstein.
I said to Amy, because Amy was right there when I was doing the Zoom call. I even said to Amy, why didn't you tell me to wear a hat?
And you have such a vast collection of them. I
do have a vast collection. Whatever. But it was, for a great cause, which was, talking about the greatness of Aaron Stokes. But, it was very funny. And if people are curious as what I look like without a hat, because some people have actually kind of complained a little bit because I'm always wearing a hat. I don't know why people would complain about such a thing. It's bizarre.
Yeah.
There's some people actually, Joan, you know what's funny? And then we're going to move on, I promise. Do you know what's so funny? There are people that are actually saying that I am wearing a hat to cover my baldness because I'm embarrassed of my baldness. I'm actually not. Like, I go out all the time without a hat. The reason I wear a hat here is because the lighting is terrible. And so the light shines off my forehead, which has been discussed a lot. And so short of putting powder on my head every day, I decided that I'd just start wearing hats every single day. And that's why I do it. I'm certainly not ashamed of being bald. I actually am the one that shaved my head completely bald when I started getting that classic male pattern baldness is what they call it. So, whatever.
But you shave your head, right?
I do.
So if you didn't shave your head, what would the pattern be?
Oh, my goodness gracious.
Like a lawn with 2/3 missing?
I would look like George Costanza. That's what I would look like. I'd look like George Costanza.
Then I think it's a good thing that you
Oh, absolutely.
shave, yeah.
No, and I really should move on from this, but the best thing I ever did actually was shave my head.
Yeah.
And it's caught on. If you look at the Titans coaching staff now, they've set a new NFL record for bald coaches.
You know what?
It's factual information. 9 bald coaches from their head coach to a bunch of assistants.
If you look at the first publicity shot that WTN had of me, which is like literally the only one they had of me because they won't pay the money for new ones. Anyway, so I had hair, but it was definitely receding. So, and yeah, you know what? I was shaving my head bald before it was hip. The Titans finally caught on. All right, it is 5:15. On Super Talk. If only they could catch on to winning. Yeah. What did they win? Was it 3 games this year?
3 and 14.
Hey, listen, they changed their logo. Everything is changing now.
Don't
my
even get me
goodness.
started. My childhood has been erased.
So the funny thing about the Titans logo change, just really quickly. All right, Joan, is there anything going on in traffic?
All that's happening that's causing a problem right now is that paving, the milling and paving on 24 eastbound. It's Old Hickory Boulevard to Almaville Road. There you go.
So the Titans and their new logo, basically it's the same logo, right? But they've got the Oilers
Color palette,
that light blue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of that faded red.
And the hot flamey thing is gone, which, as I said in a text to Sam, well, there's nothing hot about the Titans, and so they had to do truth in advertising, so they had to get rid of the flames.
Yeah.
Joan, wasn't that funny what I said?
That was kind of funny, Dan.
Whatever, Joan.
I thought you
gave a
had said
smirk.
that they shaved the logo bald to match the coaches.
Oh, is that what it is?
That's what I thought. I was going to give you too much credit there. That was my
They
thought.
are going into a new stadium with very higher ticket prices with a 3-14 record.
With 6,000 less seats.
With that thing has 6,000 less. Well, yeah, because they got the more boxes and all that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
I think
So
it
yeah,
should
they've
be
got
fewer seats, not less. I'm just saying.
6,000 fewer seats.
Seats, yeah.
So I mean, to be honest, I couldn't even
Fiota.
even if I could afford to go to a Titans game, I wouldn't. I just don't care. I would rather drive the many hours to Knoxville to go to a Vols game than go to a game at the Titans' new stadium.
Vanderbilt might still be in the top of, SEC talks again this year. They got that Nashville kid out of Nashville Christian, Jared Curtis. They could be potent.
All right, very good. 5:18, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Real quickly, the DNA, and then we're going to get on to some other stuff. But real quickly, the DNA has turned up nothing yet in the Nancy Guthrie case out of Tucson, Arizona. As we all know, and Joan and I spoke about this yesterday, they send the DNA to that lab in Florida, and it was degraded DNA, from what I understand. And they found nothing. The DNA turned up nothing. Joan?
DNA turned up no match. So they ran it through CODIS, and it didn't match any known criminal that's in the FBI database.
Okay. Now, are they going to send it to the FBI next?
That's where it went.
Oh, okay.
It did go there yesterday.
Eventually. Okay.
Yeah. So that's what CODIS is. That's the FBI's system.
Maybe
And
they ought to send it to 23andMe.
So that's interesting because did they do that already? They were talking about doing it? Yeah.
I have no idea.
There's like legal loopholes you have to jump through. And that was a whole big thing in the Koberger case is because his DNA was triggered through a relatives match on one of the websites.
Do you know, have you done that 23andMe?
No.
Nope.
I would never in a million years give up my DNA.
Nope.
Well, you know one of the main owners, founders is also married to one of the co-execs at Google.
Okay.
So it's just kind of, I don't want Google having access to my DNA.
No.
No.
I mean, No, I don't want my DNA to be out there in databases and all of that.
So this is the human genome question. Like, can China take that information?
Of course they could.
And
Joan, if it's anywhere online.
Yeah.
Now, I've got enough knucklehead relatives and Florida Amanda's family, I'm talking to you. I've got enough knucklehead relatives who will go do 23andMe, and they have. And so one way or another, I'd probably end up being matched by their DNA, I guess. So whatever.
Yeah. No, thank you.
Nope. I never understood that. Even when it was all the rage, I never understood I know people, I know men who all of a sudden, 23andMe pops up and some very awkward and uncomfortable questions start being asked about, this guy over here is matching with this, teenager over here, and who's the real father, and all of these
Yep.
kinds of things.
Yep.
Oh my goodness gracious! So,
But this is not the Maury Povich show, so.
no, it's not. It's beginning to sound like it though. Hey, anybody remember this audio bite?
It's true. As your next mayor, I will freeze your rent.
Paid for by Zoran for NYC.
Yeah, when old Mamdani was running for mayor of New York.
Yeah.
Have you heard the latest of what is going on in New York?
It is eye-popping.
It is eye-popping, and we're going to get into that coming up. We've got a New York, you asked for it, you got it update straight ahead on Super Talk 99.7. It is 5:21. Jones got the news at 5:30. Jones.
Yeah, so what did Metro Council decide to do about its NES problem last night? We'll tell you coming up at 5:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
526 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. By the way, Joan.
Yeah.
Got a big show planned today.
You do.
I do. Now, I realize that I say that every day.
Every single day.
But today's is bigger than usual. Not really. 6:35, though, Speaker of the Tennessee House, Cameron Sexton, is going to be joining us, going to talk about property taxes in Nashville. 7:05, it is, of course, Wilson Wednesday. And at 7:35, Stephen Bucci on President Trump and his negotiations with Iran. Did either one of you know, Sam or Joan, that one Eric Swalwell used to write erotic poetry?
Could have teased this in, pun intended, with the absence of erotic, and then caught us by surprise. I'm just saying.
So anyway, he did. He used to write erotic poetry in college, and he's also written a couple of screenplays as well. Well, the Daily Mail, Joan, has...
Love the Daily Mail.
The Daily Mail has published one of Eric Swalwell's erotic poems. Now, if you go to the YouTube page, you will see a Daily Dan poll. The poll is, who would you like to hear read Eric Swalwell's erotic poem? Dan, Joan, or Sam?
Your plan is backfiring, by the way.
Why?
It's not going how you thought it was going to go.
Well, how's it going? What are people saying? And by the way, Joan didn't know anything about this.
Yeah.
So
Dan,
Joan is probably fuming right now, like...
What are you doing?
Nothing.
Polling,
Guys.
polling who should read the poem.
Yes.
Oh, no.
There we go. Bump those numbers. No. Okay, now it's working. The
Come
plan
on,
is
What are
guys.
working.
people
You
saying?
know
Who
Dan
do
has
people-
to read it.
46% of people saying Joan. Now up to 50.
No. This is
Dan's at
definitely a Dan.
23%. I'm at 29%. So Joan and I were tied, which is why I said the plan was backfiring. But if we could keep voting Joan, I want to see that. It's rising. We're steadily rising at 47%, Joan.
You
So,
know
Joan, what I'm
No.
going to do,
50%.
I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to forward you, or just go to the Daily Mail. It's not under the exclusive category.
53%, Joan.
And, Joan, you can read the poem Hung Over from Burgundy by Eric Swalwell at the end of this segment.
How is it that you put my name in a poll that I was not aware of?
It's Nashville's Morning News, Joan.
It's also free speech.
There's that, too. You ever heard of the Constitution,
Doesn't
Joan?
even apply here.
I think it actually does.
Yeah. We're not the government.
So go vote. Who would you like to hear read Eric Swalwell's erotic poetry?
Since my
So
declaration,
wrong.
Joan has surged in the polling, and I have dropped to last. That's what matters.
Can I just say that anybody who wants me to read this, you're a little creepy.
So I'm trying to find it, and I still don't see it.
Oh, conveniently,
sure.
Joan,
Well,
conveniently.
They probably took it down.
You know what the thing is?
Seasoned journalists can't find an article.
All right, it is 5:30, Nashville's Morning News. Keep voting. Go to YouTube. Who do you want to hear read?
Dan.
Definitely want Joan to read it.
Dan.
Hungover from
Almost
Burgundy.
60% Joan
Dan
now.
Mendes, come on, you people, you listeners. I thought you loved me.
Joan
What the heck?
Jones, Sam, or yours truly. It is 5:30 on WTN.
This is so wrong. 5:30, I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Another fairly warm day today, but we won't have the sun really to help us out. Right now, we're at 62 degrees, just a couple more degrees by the end of the day. Stefano's forecast coming up. Metro Nashville Council decided last night to postpone a vote on whether to fire NES's CEO. That vote instead will take place in March.
In the meantime, the city is launching a commission that's been formed right now, and they're going to review what exactly went wrong during that historic power outage during January's ice storm. So that commission is going to look at the entire storm response and recommend changes so this does not happen again. At the same time, more relief is coming for Nashvillians. A one-time water and sewer credit passed its first step, and the city is formally requesting federal help for residents. This is through FEMA.
Channel 4's Joylyn Bukovac reporting there. In Texas, early voting began yesterday in the primary for a contested Senate seat that both parties are hoping to win. Now, this Houston resident thinks that Democrats have a long way to go before they can win a statewide race in Texas.
I still don't think that we're within the realm of probability for a Democrat to win a statewide race. I think that we're still probably several election cycles away from that.
Now, this voter, however, sees things differently.
The Republican Party, MAGA, has taken over the entire state legislature and the government. They've now set an agenda that I think is uncomfortable to people in Texas. It's uncomfortable to people around the world. And I think they're wondering what the heck we're doing here.
Now, just as a reminder, the Democrats are choosing between James Tallarico and Jasmine Crockett for that nomination. That is the latest news. We've got your traffic and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News. We have an accident now in Bordeaux. It's on Briley Parkway, the northbound off-ramp to Centennial Boulevard. The crash is reported on the off-ramp. Watch out as you're trying to exit. Also in Antioch on the westbound side of 24, the off-ramp to Harding Place. That is the scene of a crash as well. And the off-ramp shoulder has been blocked off. And, of course, you've got to watch out for the milling and paving that's happening on 24, the eastbound side in the Laverne area. They won't be picking that up until 2 this afternoon. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.537, Super Talk 99.7. Joan, Sam
Yes.
says this is a super duper sexy song. Yeah, I guess
Well,
this is
yeah.
kind of sexy, sure. Yeah.
Pretty,
Now, this is better than
qualifies.
This is better than Eric Swalwell's erotic poetry.
but it makes a nice background for it.
So, Eric Swalwell, the Daily Mail, has uncovered some of Eric Swalwell's erotic poetry that he apparently wrote at one time. And if you go to the YouTube page, the Daily Dan poll, which has turned into the Daily Weekly Dan poll, who do you want to read it? Me, Joan, or Sam? Now, not surprisingly, Joan is a runaway favorite. What's the polling now?
56% Joan.
See, I would vote, Joan, I'm going to be honest with you. I voted like 9 times, and I voted for you every single time.
Are you allowed to vote 9 times? What do you have 9 different identities?
Well, yeah, that's how the Republicans keep winning in Tennessee. I just keep voting over and over again. I'm just kidding. No, we have laws against that here in the state of Tennessee. No, I actually didn't vote at all. But I knew that Joan would win. So at the end of this segment, we're going to check the voting. Go to YouTube, vote. Who do you want to read it? Me, Joan, or Sam? And we will have whoever the winner or loser is read Eric Swalwell's erotic poetry.
Winner or loser? Or is the winner
The winner is the loser.
Okay.
Because none of us want to read this.
Well, that shields you because you're in the middle.
It's called Hungover from Burgundy. Now, Burgundy's an alcohol, right? That's an alcohol drink, Burgundy?
It's a type of wine.
Okay.
It's a color of alcohol, I guess you could say.
I'm reading this.
The writings were revealed by conservative filmmaker Joel Gilbert, who has been upfront about his mission to derail Swalwell's gubernatorial bid. Did he write them to Fing Fing Fang Fang, whatever her name was?
Fing Fing Fang Fang? That's good, Joan.
Yes.
Let's see here. I think this was written when he was studying government and history at Campbell University, a private liberal arts college in Buies Creek, North Carolina. Buies Creek, North Carolina, from 1999 to 2001. I don't know how old that is. I don't know how old he was in 2001, but they say he was an aspiring writer. He churned out several screenplays, wrote a column for the Campbell Times, and contributed a risque poem to the annual literary magazine, The Lyricist.
Oh, my goodness.
Are you reading it?
I am. Hungover from Burgundy depicts 2 lovers meeting atop a hotel before having, in quotes, formless and magnificent sex in a flurry of limbs and nails.
He forgot to mention the espionage part.
Do you know what the great thing is? Like, literally everything rhymes with Fang Fang. Bang Bang, for example.
Oh, my gosh. What he's implying happened on the rooftop.
Bang Bang with Fang Fang. See, we got to stop. Oh, my God. I can't believe I'm doing this.
That's what Fang Fang said.
Is there anything else besides Bang Bang?
Dang.
Dang.
Dang. Oh my God. No, I can't do it. I was going to say, can I do it? Can I do it?
If this was Tim Burchett, we could do what rhymes with dadgummit.
Yeah, but like.
That eventually sends you into curse word territory.
Yeah. What's
well,
the
Joan,
one
you
were
already read a
thinking
couple of lines.
I
you
know
want
what
to
he
go
was
ahead
going to
and.
say.
No, that was just the description of it.
Hey, Joan, if you're having a chicken wing in the South, what are you likely to hear? A wang.
Okay.
I don't even understand what that means. We should probably move on. I don't know what's making me more uncomfortable, Sam's comedy or Eric Swalwell's poetry.
Just wait till I give you my poetry, Dan.
So, so Joan, you already read a couple of lines. You want to go ahead and just read this? Are you sure?
Is it worse than the wine glass painting?
Do you know what? We could all. You know what? We could all take a passage. We could all take, because it's like, what, 15 lines?
Oh, like how they did in class?
Yeah. Oh, yes. We used to do that in class.
I like that. See, you nailed it.
Okay, so the three of us. So the three of us are going to take. So you got to pull yours up, Sam. Sam, you got to pull up the Daily Mail.
Oh, you got to clip that one.
And check it out. See, now I'm trying to look and see what the most uncomfortable lines are.
This is what you just said.
Because this is, this is risque. This is risque poetry, erotic poetry. What? And some of it doesn't make sense. Like I can tell Joan's reading it too. Either Eric Swalwell is.
Can we tie just the title by Daily Mail? Wanna be governor.
Mm-hmm.
Classic.
Now here's the crazy thing. Is that the people in California will absolutely vote for him for governor.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, okay, here's my question.
They're going to make a movie out of this.
Oh.
Out there in California.
This will be a Hallmark movie.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Oh, my gosh. This is terrible.
All right, Sam, you got yours?
Yeah.
Up? Okay. So, Joan, you want to... Okay, so we need a little music, though. Are you able to do... Like, this is terrible.
Don't you have any, like, we need a 70s porn music?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You went there.
I did, because I think that this requires
You know what's odd, Joan? I don't know what 70s porn music would sound like.
Oh, come on.
That's because you had the volume off.
I didn't want my parents to hear. Moving right along.
They didn't have Bluetooth headphones back then, Dan.
No, they didn't even have computers. You know what happened? While you're looking for that music, Sam...
That'll do.
All right, who's going to start? You want me to start? I'll start.
Let's do the title.
Everybody's got, you've got yours, Sam? So you got to follow along. When I stop reading, then Joan, you pick it up, and then Sam.
Okay.
Okay.
Hungover from Burgundy. Go ahead, Dan.
By Eric Swalwell. And their beauty was formless and magnificent, a flurry of limbs and nails. She chased, and I ran. I chased, and she ran. Atop my hotel, she stopped, and I leapt for cloth and tan. Joan?
My anxious arm she bit. My scars beautiful. While I screamed, she bent her lips to mine, kissing till veins imploded and exploded, till blood rolled down our chins. For bounded mouths cannot speak of parting.
Sam?
In the morning, I awoke beside Beauty's shadow, her form sloppy and her legs pale. My scar lost, my lips cracked and dry, and we groaned simultaneously.
Well then.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
If they're kissing...
Why is blood rolling down their chins?
Why is blood rolling down their chins? Have I been doing it wrong all these years, Joan?
Maybe.
If you're supposed to if you're kissing and there's supposed to be like blood coming down...
Yeah.
I've been shanking it like for years.
Yeah. Maybe she bit his lip?
Is that what it is?
Kissing till veins imploded.
That's not erotic. That's violent.
Yeah.
It's also just not...
And I think it might be assault.
It's not anatomically correct. If you bleed from that area, it's the capillary beds. It's not a vein. If you were to puncture a vein while doing that, it'd be like... You could drown the person in blood.
All right, we're moving on.
I'm just saying, it's
All right,
gross.
let's move on.
And why were his lips cracked and dry, honestly?
Yeah.
Get some chapstick, buddy.
Here, Don Lemon has plenty.
All right, moving right along, because people are begging us to stop.
Okay.
Moving right
There's
along.
a little something for your Cheerios this morning, folks.
I'm still hung up on the whole blood thing.
That's the burgundy. It's the blood.
Oh.
Hey, J.D. Vance.
Hungover from Burgundy.
That's disgusting.
J.D. Vance was on Fox News, and they asked J.D. about his reaction to AOC. And AOC, remember the whole thing with Munich and how she completely torpedoed the answer to troops in Taiwan? Remember that whole thing? So J.D. Vance was asked about all this.
Would and should the U.S. actually commit U.S. troops to defend Taiwan if China were to move?
I think that
We all remember this.
this is such a, I think that this is this is, of course, a very long-standing.
Do you know what's so funny about Joan listening to AOC right now and her reaction to this question?
What's that?
This is, I think, the listener's reaction to us reading that poetry.
Yes, I think you
I think that's.
Policy of the United States.
Hold on, does this help?
Martha, you bring me on your show and you show me the most uncomfortable 20 seconds of television I've ever seen. My takeaway from that.
What happened there? What do you think?
Well, I think it's a person who doesn't know what she actually thinks. And I've seen this way too much in Washington with politicians where they're given lines, and when you ask them to go outside the lines they were given, they completely fall apart because, look, does anybody really believe that AOC has very thoughtful ideas about the global world order or about what the United States should do with our policy in Asia or our policy in Europe? No, this is a person who is mouthing the slogans that somebody else gave her. And it
I guess
shows
no one gave her
how
one for
thin,
that
I
one.
guess not. And it shows how thin the Democrats' policy actually is on all these very, very important questions. Look, that was embarrassing. If I had given that answer, I would say, you know what? Maybe I ought to go read a book about China and Taiwan before I go out on the world stage again. I hope that Congresswoman Cortez has the same humility. I'm skeptical.
There you go. Absolutely smokes AOC. And that's why a lot of people say, okay, let's have Jasmine Crockett, for example, same mentality, end up being the candidate for the Senate, and let's in Texas, and let's have AOC run for president. Absolutely. By the way, so the reaction to our poetry reading, Joan and Sam?
Oh, very funny.
Mixed. So P. Dowd says, y'all are cracking me up. BTW, I liked when Sam read it. He made it sexy. Let's see here. Angie says, I think Sam has read before.
This is the worst section in WTN history.
Which is really saying something.
Yeah.
0890, y'all got my blood pumping this morning. 50 Shades of Swalwell. Oof. 0473 says, I'm uncomfortable. 0198, Fang Wang Bang. Moving on. Let's see here. Christy says, well, y'all can read audiobooks when this gig ends, especially Sam. Oh, Sam for the win. Let's see. Woke up to porn on WTN. Listen. Oh, that was a timely segment. The Daily Mail has broken this story. Hey, Joan, should we put that on our demo tapes when we have to look for other jobs?
For sure. Yeah. With all that emotion.
I like how I got left with the raunchiest part, it felt like.
What's that?
I got to read the blood part. Come on.
Yeah, which was natural to deviate from, and Dan kind of had an easy intro.
Well, maybe that was by design.
Yeah, I'm starting to realize that now.
Let's see, 89. I want to hear Dan read the whole thing because I just want to hear him squirm and be embarrassed. Well, congratulations, you already have. All right, so, yeah, it's interesting. People either loved it or hated it. You know, here's the thing, Sam and Joan. I think we all know that sometimes we need to go outside of our comfort zone. Joan, would you agree with that?
Sometimes.
I think that in this case, Sam was way too comfortable doing what he did, reading that whole thing.
It was my first time reading it out loud, just to clarify for people.
50 Shades of Burgundy, another one. 1026 says, read it again with everyone using a British accent.
That sounds like a great idea, honestly.
Readings by Dan Diggler. That may not have been.
We should get AI to do it. We should get AI, like a sexy female voice to read it.
Or Bernie Sanders.
Yeah, no.
We'd have Bernie Sanders read it.
Yeah.
And that was beauty, formless and magnificent. A flurry of limbs and nails.
So I think that we're going to move on now. Okay, was that a mistake, that whole thing that we just did? Now, here's the good news. It's before 6 o'clock. So the FCC rules are relaxed. And it's a legit news story, Joan, as you know.
It is a legit news story.
So it being a legit news story.
On a terrible, terrible poem.
Yeah, I don't even know, should we grade the actual poetry ability of Eric Swalwell? I think it's going to get an F.
I'd give it a D, but I don't want to say I gave that to Eric Swalwell.
5:52 on Super Talk 99.7. Joan's got the news coming up at 6 o'clock. Joan.
Yeah, so it looks like ICE is not actually going to have a detention facility in Lebanon. We'll tell you the back and forth about that and how things ended up yesterday in the late afternoon hours. Coming up here at 6 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
5:57, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning to you, friends. All right, so I guess has it been 5 years since Rush Limbaugh passed?
It has been. Isn't that crazy? Like,
how is that possible that it's been 5 years?
Yeah.
Well, Donald Trump came out with a very nice tribute to Rush Limbaugh. And I would, with no due respect to Howard Stern, I would call Rush Limbaugh the king of all media. But anyway, this is what Donald Trump had to say about El Rushbo 5 years after his passing. Need some audio if I could. Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Well, this is the 5th anniversary of the loss of a really great man, a great conservative, somebody that loved our country, loved his family, loved a lot of things, but he was a friend of mine, Rush Limbaugh. I'd never met Rush when I announced that I was running. I'll never forget, 2015, and I got a call all excited that Rush Limbaugh just endorsed you. I never met him. He liked my opening speech. He liked when I got up in June and I said, you know, we got bad borders, we got bad crime, we got bad everything. And he liked it. I came down the escalator with now our First Lady, and he thought it was great. And he endorsed me, and then I got to know him, and I realized what a great guy he was. But it's 5 years that we miss Rush. As Sean Hannity would often say, there will never be another Rush Limbaugh. So to his family, his great wife and family, I just want to say we miss you all. We miss him, and there'll never be anybody like him. Thank you very much.
Boy, that is certainly true. Donald Trump talking about El Rushbo. And I've talked about this often. You know what I was doing? I think it was a couple months ago. I was driving to see my daughter up in Indiana. You know what I did, Joan?
What'd you do?
I found an old Rush Limbaugh show. I think it was on YouTube, and I just played it.
Oh, I love that.
It was some random show from, I don't know when, 90s, 2000s, whenever it was.
Yeah.
But, I mean, all the stories obviously were, old, and half of them I didn't even remember. But just listening to the way that he would do his show.
Yes.
Yes. Absolute, the GOAT of talk radio, Rush Limbaugh. So, gone way too soon, 5 years ago. And I personally will always appreciate what Rush Limbaugh did for the medium that I love, which is obviously radio.
He, if you go on YouTube and you just put Rush Limbaugh in, you can get a bajillion of his shows.
Yep.
And he had a show on Jesse Jackson, which seems kind of timely. So that's
what
the
did
first
he used
one
to
pop
call
up.
Jesse Jackson?
That's a good question. I'm sure listeners will remember. You and I talked about this yesterday. I still cannot remember it, but yeah.
All right, 6 o'clock, Super Talk, 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. We're at 62, overcast skies right now. Our high today is only 67 degrees. Looks like we've got some rain headed our way. Stick around for the forecast still to come. So it looks like ICE is not, after all, bringing a detention facility to Lebanon.
We have no confirmation that any buildings have been purchased here in our county.
So why does everyone think this facility is coming? Well, here's what happened. We reached out to ICE when we started hearing about these rumors. The first time we asked about it on Monday, an ICE spokesperson told us they wouldn't confirm office locations for the safety of their employees. But then Tuesday morning, another ICE spokesperson confirmed that ICE had in fact bought a facility in Lebanon, Tennessee.
And that is WSMV4's Braden Ross reporting there. Now, at the end of all of the back and forth yesterday, ICE sent out one final statement saying, quote, that statement was sent without proper approval and this mistake has since been rectified. ICE has rented out 2 office spaces in Nashville proper. Those, however, will not house illegal aliens. Public outrage over the potential closure of Nashville's Acme Feed and Seed on Lower Broadway. The owner is Tom Morales. He says his property taxes went up to $600,000 a year, and he just can't pay for it. The place would have to close down. The taxes used to be $129,000. Fox 17 reports it has asked Mayor Freddie O'Connell for his response, and he said, quote, "It's not up to me whether he keeps that business open. The market evolves. New businesses start even as beloved old businesses close." Well, we're going to get more on this story with Speaker of the Tennessee House of Representatives, Cameron Sexton. He'll be joining Dan at 6:30. Market numbers brought to you by Beacon Capital Management, online at beaconcm.com.
Investors hope to build on Tuesday's modest gains as the markets hit midweek. The Dow gained 32 points yesterday to close at 49,533, well off its early February highs. The S&P and Nasdaq each picked up less than 0.2%. Amazon has been through a brutal 9-day slide in stock prices, during which it lost $450 billion in market cap. Shares in the retailer climbed 1% Tuesday. Despite the loss, Amazon remains the fifth most valuable company on earth. Bayer has agreed to pay more than $7 billion to settle current and future lawsuits related to its Roundup weed killer. Users of the herbicide have claimed that it caused their non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. A customer who accused Buffalo Wild Wings of false advertising because its boneless wings aren't actually deboned wings has had his case tossed out. Judge John Tharp Jr. wrote that Eamon Halim's complaint, quote, has no meat on its bones. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
Stock futures are pointing up this morning. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News. Still milling and paving on eastbound 24 in Laverne this morning. Careful there in Bordeaux. Briley Parkway northbound, the off-ramp to eastbound Centennial Boulevard. A crash there on the off-ramp. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.606 on Nashville's Morning News. You know, Joan, we were talking about El Rushbo.
Yeah.
And I was trying to remember what Rush's name for Jesse Jackson was.
Yeah.
And I thought that there was a special name, but one of the things that he always did, of course, I believe, was he would refer to Jesse Jackson as the Reverend Jesse Jackson.
Yes.
And I didn't really understand it when I first started listening to Rush. And then, of course, I started to really understand the humor behind it. I wasn't sure if, you know the song Shakedown?
Yeah.
I wasn't sure, was that Rush that used the, maybe it was a parody of the song Shakedown?
Could be.
Or
yeah.
maybe it was the song Shakedown itself. But, you know, the word on Jesse Jackson is, and of course, is that he would go his, Rainbow Push Coalition would go to businesses and they would accuse them of racism and, racist practices and all of this. And the businesses would then be forced to, there's books and articles and everything on this. You can look it up. The businesses would then be forced to give a very sizable donation to Jesse Jackson's Rainbow Push Coalition. And it was like a shakedown.
Yeah.
That's what it was. And I mean, I don't know why that's controversial. I mean, it's just an interpretation of what Jesse Jackson was doing. And a lot of people said it was for his own personal gain. And I mean, I happen to believe that is what it was. Now, Donald Trump, and we read that very nice thing that Trump posted about Jesse Jackson yesterday. The president clearly didn't have any problems with Jesse Jackson, even though, again, in my opinion, he was shaking down businesses way back when. But, whatever. For me, I don't have a lot to say about Jesse Jackson, and I do believe that he was a shakedown artist, and, whatever.
Of course, the Reverend Jesse Jackson, that it was kind of a twist on the fact that he is actually a reverend. Is he? Yes, he is the Reverend Jesse Jackson. Yeah. And so the Tennessean this morning has an article. Under a picture, it says Jackson's advocacy in politics was similar in the church, leaders say. And he's got his arms wide like he's at the pulpit. They just can't stop. They can't help themselves.
Well, did they ever mention any of the controversies?
They don't mention the controversies. And I guess they don't want to do that because he's, just passed away. I don't think anybody had reluctance about framing Charlie Kirk in every possible horrifying way they could.
They most certainly did. So, I mean, for Jesse Jackson, I mean, I just... shoulders up around my ears. Do you know what I say about Jesse Jackson? Not as bad as Al Sharpton.
Right. Yes, for sure.
Because I'm not a fan of Al Sharpton either. And the thing is,
ganged up on the Tawana Brawley thing when it first happened in New York City. They were out there race baiting like crazy, and until the very end, and still have never apologized for what they did.
And so, for me, I'm not a fan of either of them. That doesn't make me a racist. I didn't like their tactics. I didn't like the constant race baiting. I didn't like the shakedowns. Somebody said Phil Valentine.
Yes.
His song Shakedown was for Jesse Jackson. So I don't have access to any of that stuff, obviously. It's been so long. But anyway, but an appropriate song nonetheless, Jesse Jackson and Shakedown. Moving right along, Nashville property taxes front and center this morning. I heard you talking about this, Joan.
Yeah.
Coming up, we do have the Speaker of the Tennessee House, Cameron Sexton. He's going to join us to talk about this and a number of other things. But we all know that property taxes effectively have gone up and up in Nashville. And now it's really hitting the local businesses, the independent businesses as well, especially ones that have been here forever, like Acme Feed and Seed. Apparently, it's been around for like 56 years. They say that Acme Feed and Seed is one of the last true anchors of old Nashville. And they're going to have to shut down, apparently, because of those massively high property taxes. You talked about it, Joan. They've gone from $129,000 a year to almost $600,000 a year.
And still $129,000 is insane.
Yeah, but who can pay $600,000 a year in property taxes? Well, the bigger bars with the marketing, with the Kid Rock and the Blake Shelton and the Miranda Lambert, those were all corporate-owned bars and restaurants. And so they can absorb $600,000 in property taxes. But, I mean, Acme Feed and Seed can't. It's owned by one guy, or maybe, whatever. Maybe he's got a group, but Tom Morales is a guy. And the Fox 17 report spoke to him, the owner, who he's helped rescue other iconic Nashville properties like Loveless Cafe and the Woolworth Lunch Counter. He also saved Acme Feed and Seed years ago, but now he is being crushed by this more than $500,000 property tax increase. This is what he said to Fox 17.
Morales wrote the mayor a letter and asked for a meeting. The mayor did not respond. So we asked the mayor if he was going to offer any relief to Acme. In short, the answer is no. No help for Acme. It's just business, says the mayor.
Yeah, and so that's kind of, obviously sad. Tom Morales has done a lot for the city of Nashville. And what does he get for that? No good deed goes unpunished. Gets his property taxes raised $500,000. So remember what happened, by the way, in Nashville, where, and I don't want to get into the weeds here, but because the property values skyrocketed, that meant that even if the property tax rate remained the same, those values meant far higher property taxes that business owners and folks would have to pay. But the crazy thing is, this is the crazy thing. Morales simply asked for a meeting with the mayor and couldn't get one. This is the mayor's full quote. It's not up to me whether he keeps that business open. The market evolves. New businesses start even as beloved old businesses close. It sounds pretty heartless. Do you know what I think, Joan?
I think
I think that the mayor has some sort of designs on that building.
Oh, yes.
I think that's what's going on.
And maybe the mayor knows somebody who wants to develop that building differently.
That's what I think.
Yeah. Nailed it. We nailed it.
And this is more from Tony Morales.
It's really discouraging to see. And the part that's really discouraging is that none of our leadership steps up and says, hey, we're going to do something for you. I've been 40 years doing something for the city of Nashville. I can't even get a meeting.
I also wonder, old Nashville, and I've only been here 12 years, but I do wonder if there is an attitude amongst the liberals in Nashville that they don't like old classic Nashville.
Yeah.
Because they think that maybe it was too hick, it's too cowboy,
yep,
it's too white.
Yep.
You think that's maybe part of it?
I mean, I went to school here in the 20-teens, and like kind of the notion was people wanted to get away from Nashville because they thought it was still somehow, too backwoods.
Too southern.
Yeah.
Is maybe what some people think.
A little bit.
And here's the deal. And that's what I love about Nashville. And that's what Tennesseans love about Nashville. Now, Mayor Freddie O'Connell was born in Nashville, but because he's, on the left, I don't think that he values the, sort of the sentiment of old Nashville. So maybe the mayor has something in mind for that building, Acme Feed and Seed, right there, Lower Broad, prime location. Another part of this, by the way, again, I was talking about this earlier, is the corporate-owned bars and restaurants. They've all been opening up where perhaps they can afford that type of property tax. And, a guy like Tom Morales simply can't. We've got, again, Kid Rock, Jason Aldean's bar, Miranda Lambert. You've got your Blake Shelton. Those might look local, but those are corporate-owned entities. And Tom Morales has spent years rescuing these properties across Nashville over the years. By the way, the other question that I would ask is, okay, so what is Nashville, or Nashvillians, we're paying all of this, well, not me, but people who live in Nashville and people like Tom Morales and business owners, what are they getting for their money? We'll talk about that coming up. 6:16, time to check the roads on WTN. Far as your weather goes, mostly cloudy today, a high of 62, possible showers this afternoon into this evening. So I really started thinking about this. If you live in Nashville, or if you're a business owner in Nashville and you're paying all of these higher property taxes because your property was assessed higher, and that's what the property taxes are based on, what are you getting for your money? Like, is it fair and appropriate to ask that question? What do you get for your money? Remember that old Freddie in the last budget asked for a 16.6% spending increase. And the question I would ask is, okay, so what are we getting for that? Are we getting, bike lanes and all that kind of stuff? I went on this whole thing a couple of, I think it was months ago now. But, I drive through Hermitage every day on my way back to Wilson County in Mount Juliet. I still have not seen anybody in those bike lanes. Metro schools, one of, if not the biggest budget items where the property taxes go. And let's not forget the head of Metro schools, Dr. Adrienne Battle. She ends up getting sued, and the school board ends up getting sued and cost the districts millions of dollars. What was $6.5 million is what they had to pay out in lawsuits against Dr. Adrienne Battle. $6.5 million as everybody's property taxes went up. And by the way, don't forget that nobody was allowed to ask any questions. Remember her office? What was it about the office, Joan and Sam? She had like a golden toilet or something like that?
She needed a private pooper.
She needed a big fancy...
she already had one, and she had it renovated.
She had her office renovated.
Like $29,000. I don't know how much it was.
Yeah.
It was $165,000, and the toilet was like 20 of it, right? Something like that.
Oh, that toilet wasn't $20,000
or two. It was more expensive than it should have been.
Look up how expensive. Oh, are we going to do this? How expensive was Adrienne Battle's toilet? Because here's the thing, and it was a legit conversation. Because, again, one of the things that I've noticed is that they don't like to answer questions over there at, the Metro School Board. They simply don't. They have seen some improvement in scores, but, they're still lagging behind the rest of the state is Metro Nashville. But, she had a whole new office renovated. If I remember right, there was new furniture in there as well. Did you find it, Sam?
No specific breakdown isolates the exact cost of just the toilet. I do recall in the article, though, it was something about needing to put high-flow pipes in.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Change your diet.
Anyway, whatever. Moving right along. All I'm saying is that as the businesses and the people of Nashville are struggling, and things are already expensive, right? As the city of Nashville and the people that work and live in Nashville are struggling, they're paying millions of dollars in lawsuits and a public school system that still isn't great. And she also, Dr. Adrienne Battle, had her office renovated, and the people are struggling.
I got to correct Joan that there wasn't a private bathroom before. There was a women's restroom located right outside her office, but this was the first en-suite bathroom in the building.
That's right.
Yes, that's right. She had to share her potty with other people, and that just wasn't good enough.
How dare you? Adrienne Battle. Guys,
How dare you?
This is Dr. Adrienne Battle. She needs her own bathroom. She needs her privacy. And who are we to question her need for privacy at those critical moments in her day? It is 6:21 on Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7. Joan's got the news coming up at 6:30. Joan.
Yeah, why Facebook founder Mark Zuckerberg is going to be on a witness stand today. We'll bring you details of that coming up at 6:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.621 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Friends, many of us, we're simply not where we want to be. We can eat right, we can exercise, but the reality is that sometimes, yes, indeed, we do need a little help. And my friends at Contours in Cool Springs, they are here to help both men and women lose body fat and a whole lot more. Listen, we are heading towards the end of February, right? And so spring is coming. And following that is summertime. And you need to get your sunshine body going, your swimming pool body going. Contours in Cool Springs, they can help you lose body fat and so much more. Their ultra slim body contouring does guarantee you are going to lose 2 inches, or that first treatment is absolutely free. It is non-invasive. It doesn't hurt. And the results, yes, indeed, they are instant. I've gone through the process. Matt Murphy has gone through it as well. It does work. And by the way, they also do facials. Love those as well. They are revitalizing, and their red light therapy is going to tighten your skin and restore that natural glow. Now, remember, Contours, again, is for both women and men. You should check them out online, contoursllc.com. They can help you. That red light therapy, that red light technology, it is all the rage. And yes, indeed, you can use them to help you lose some body fat and those red light therapy facials as well. Call them. Tell them Dan told you to reach out. Contours, 615-236-9960, 615-236-9960. Visit him online anytime, contoursllc.com. Contours, all you've got to lose is inches. All right, very good. 623 Nashville's Morning News. I'm intrigued by this, Joan. I go down to Lebanon Road all the time because I ask the good people of Nashville who live here, are you happy with what you're getting for your money? 7885 says, we get those ugly poles up and down Lebanon Road and a declining police presence. I'm not sure where the pole, what poles are they talking about? Do you know, Sam?
They're talking about these like police security cam poles that they set up with like these little generator units in parking lots down the street and stuff.
Oh, yes.
As like a monitoring system.
Yes, there's one. Amy and I were talking about those the other day. There's some in the parking lot of Chili's, as a matter of fact, right there by the entrance to I-40. So, yes, 7885, I do agree. Although I don't know about the declining police presence, but not a big fan of the polls. I do know that we need more police officers in Nashville. All right, got to go. Sorry. Mark Spain, Real Estate. Sell your home with the guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate. Choose when you want to move. There's no showings, no open houses, and no stress. With the guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate, you can skip the uncertainty of a traditional home sale and sell your home fast for all cash in as little as 21 days. Now, one of their clients, BR, had this to say, Mark Spain Real Estate sold my home within 30 days. We received 4 offers in just 1 week. Now, thanks to them, thanks to Mark Spain Real Estate, the process was by far the easiest and the quickest. I would definitely recommend them to my friends and family. I couldn't agree more. Dan here, yes. I'm always impressed with how easy Mark Spain Real Estate makes selling a home. For 30 years, Mark Spain Real Estate has been serving families just like yours, and they have helped over 72,000 satisfied clients. You can trust the most experienced real estate team in America to sell your home stress-free and for the most money. Call them. Tell them I told you to reach out at 855-299-SOLD. 855-299-SOLD. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today. That's markspain.com and start packing. 627. Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk. Joan, you're going to have to be the tiebreaker here.
Uh-oh, yeah.
Sam and I are in a little bit of a spat.
Okay.
So Sam says that people are requesting that our Eric Swalwell erotic poem reading in the 5 o'clock hour is deserving of its own podcast. I immediately told Sam, do not under any circumstances make that available anywhere, because I think that was a terrible segment. He is telling me that people want that so that they can, for whatever reason.
It'll be in the first hour podcast, available on all platforms.
And I'm saying that I think that was a terrible segment. I'm just going to be honest. Joan, that was a terrible segment.
They want it isolated. I've already got it cut down. It's like a minute. Yep.
It was a terrible segment. The second we started going into other things, I'm like, oh, that was terrible. And I'm starting to shame spiral and stuff. Why would we highlight that? Joan, do you think that was our erotic poetry reading of Eric Swalwell in the 5 o'clock hour?
Award-winning, Dan. Come on.
Listen, I would like to at some point win another Marconi or keep my job, one of the two. And I don't know if that is something that we should highlight. I don't know. It'd be nice to be syndicated one day. You think they're going to, syndicate me with that piece of crap segment out there in the, in the audio on demand sphere?
So you're saying you feel scarred by it?
I'm saying that I could go the rest of my life without hearing you in that voice, Sam. Yes, as a matter of fact. So
yes, but are your lips chapped?
Okay, now I want to take I'm going to rip my ears off is what I'm actually going to do.
Better not groan simultaneously.
So what we're going to do is, Joan, should we podcast that, yes or no?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I think you two are see, this is just so you people know that are listening. This is how I run the show. It's a true, democracy where we all have a vote. Yeah.
Yeah, we get a vote.
Let's go ahead and have the listeners vote too.
Oh, I like that.
On YouTube. So should we podcast it, or should I just ensure that it is never heard again? We could take it off YouTube. We could take it off of the podcast and all that.
Can't take it out of the logger.
3042. Try your poem on Red Eye. No. 3994. Yeah. You're right, Dan. It was terrible. You get fancy roundabouts. I don't know what that means. All right. Anyway, got to go. 630, Super Talk, 99.7, WTN.
Good morning. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. A bomb threat shut down construction of a steam plant in Stewart County yesterday. This is at the site of the TVA Cumberland Fossil Plant on Cumberland City Road.
Deputies say a note was left on the wall of a portable bathroom. The threat was very detailed, according to authorities, so workers were evacuated from the site just in case. A bomb-sniffing dog along with a drug-detecting robot were brought in.
Channel 4's Danielle Ledbetter there. Now, no bombs were found. Construction resumed. The sheriff's office says it has not yet identified a suspect. In Trousdale County, a captain with the sheriff's department has been indicted on official misconduct and sexual battery charges. The TBI said it began investigating 44-year-old Matthew Wright after he was accused of assaulting a woman. He's been booked into the Trousdale County Jail on a $10,000 bond. Facebook founder Mark Zuckerberg is expected to testify today inside a Los Angeles courtroom at a trial over whether social media companies have been deliberately getting kids addicted to their apps. Here's ABC News legal analyst Brian Buckmeyer on why jurors may have a tough time buying into that argument.
They're pointing at KGM, that's the name for the 19-year-old who's the plaintiff in this case. They're pointing at KGM and saying, yes, there could be some negative things about social media, but let's talk about her, that before she got into social media, she had already had a therapist. There was already issues with her, and that's what caused a lot of the mental and physical issues that she's arguing with, not social media.
And that woman he is talking about there claims that her early use of social media addicted her to the technology and exacerbated her depression and suicidal thoughts. That is the latest news. We've got your traffic and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Thank you, Joan. 632 Window Nation. Is your heat running more than it should be? It's probably because your window insulation has failed. Now, when it does, all of that heat escapes and the cold gets in. Now, the pros at Window Nation, they can help you get new energy-efficient windows at a great price from Window Nation. It is their buy 4, get 4 windows free sale. It is going on right now. It is a great time to replace all the windows in your home. You could also get them with 0 money down, 0 monthly payments, and 0 interest for 2 years. You act right now, you can get an extra 10% off here in the month of February, celebrating Valentine's Day. Find them online, windownation.com. That is windownation.com. Don't forget that great price. It is the buy 4, get 4 windows free sale going on right now. You get 10% off for Valentine's Day. Also, you want to finish this spot for me, Sam?
Are your lips cracked and dry, Dan?
Good Lord. Buy 4, get 4 windows free sale going on right now. Windownation.com, windownation.com.
There's an accident in Una this morning, Couchville Pike at Reynolds Road. Also, right out there at the airport on Briley Parkway, the southbound off-ramp to eastbound I-40 East. That crash is on the off-ramp as well. And in Jolton, 24 eastbound at New Hope Road, there's an accident reported there as well. Just keep in mind that in Laverne on 24, the eastbound side, it's milling and paving going on till about 2 this afternoon. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.637 Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Welcome on in to Nashville's Morning News, and welcome on in Speaker of the Tennessee House, Cameron Sexton. Mr. Speaker, always great to have you on. A lot going on. Let's just jump right into it. Earlier in the program, I was talking about the situation with Acme Feed and Seed and the owner, Tom Morales. And he's literally just asking for a meeting with Mayor Freddie O'Connell for help with his property tax situation, which I was talking about earlier. He has seen his property taxes skyrocket. For people that are just joining us, $500,000. And so the mayor was quoted as saying this, because I'm really offended by what the mayor had to say. The mayor saying this: "It's not up to me whether he keeps that business open," Mayor O'Connell said. "The market evolves, new businesses start, even as beloved old businesses close." A lot of people have had some very strong reactions to what I would say is the mayor's incredibly heartless comment on what is going on with Acme Feed and Seed, one of the classic businesses in Nashville. What is your initial reaction to that, sir?
Yeah, the quote is I mean, I was shocked by it too, Dan, to be honest with you, and it's just a lack of empathy for what's happening to business owners downtown. I mean, a total lack. And look, I think what he said too, the owner of Acme, is the $500,000 increase is more than his rent and profit combined, if you want to think about that, and how much of an increase that was for 1 year. And, you know, I've met with downtown businesses numerous times over the last 12 months to talk about the issues they face, the big property tax hike that they had in Nashville, plus the evaluations on top of it, is driving a lot of them out of business. And what will happen is you'll go from a small business owner like Tom or others, and you're going to go to these hedge fund owning all the property downtown because they'll be the only ones that can afford it to buy it. And then you're going to lose your property owners, and that lessens downtown, lessens the experience on Broadway as we prepare to hopefully host a Super Bowl here in the next 5 to 6 years with the new stadium coming online. And so it's just a lack of empathy for the situation. We have some legislation that can fix that. Also something that may help them long term as well here in the very near future.
Well, and that was going to be my next question. The Tennessee State Legislature has a bill from Jason Zachary that would cap local property tax increases to 2% a year. That would be unless voters approve it through a referendum. Nashville, of course, again, saw those property values soar. So even if the rates stayed the same, effectively, that means that people saw it as an increase and certainly felt it as an increase here in the last couple of years. So what are the chances of that bill passing, capping local property tax increases to 2% a year, or I guess it's like in a 3-year period, if you haven't increased those taxes 2% every year, then they can increase to, I guess, 6% at the end of that 3rd year? Talk about that.
Yeah, so it's you can increase your property taxes at a rate of 2% per year, or a cumulative of 6% in 1 year, just over a 3-year period, and so that will help hold line in. And what you have is, and I think I put this out on Twitter yesterday for anybody who wants to go and follow my page, is you don't want to give progressives an unlimited taxing authority, because then you become California, exactly what they're doing, and exactly what's happening in Nashville is they raise the property tax, 30-40% on top of an OI valuation after that. And so we're going to pass, we hope. I think we have the votes this year. We tried a couple years ago to put a cap in place to protect not only business owner but residential owners, and force the government to control their growth and not do astronomical property tax increases, as we have on the ballot next year. Yes, on to ban a statewide property tax. We never want to have that. We haven't used it, but we don't want to ever have one either. And so there's a lot of things that we're putting in place. Also, I will say, Metro is wanting a TDZ. That whole area down there from the convention center to Lower Broad is a TDZ zone, which is the state gives them the ability to have it as a TDZ, and we give up revenue for them to go in and build an infrastructure and to protect businesses.
Well, sorry, Speaker, hold on. What is a TDZ zone?
It's a tourist district zone, development zone for tourists. And so the state allows extra revenue to flow locally to help infrastructure and expansion projects down there with law enforcement, public safety, the convention center, as a tourist zone. We have those all over the state. And so Metro is right now wanting to extend that TDZ as well as the business owners. And since we're giving up state revenue for that, they have to have our approval. And so I think what you'll see this year too is a lot of different things that we will put in place in TDZs in our state to protect businesses like those from bad evaluations, from disrupting the flow of traffic, what NDOT has been doing to businesses in downtown, and making sure that those zones are the pro-business zones that the state needs to survive and continue to move forward.
Do you think there is a bias, and I don't know, you may not have an opinion on this. If not, I'll move on. But do you think there's a bias against some of these older businesses like Acme Feed and Seed? They don't have a big marketing with a Kid Rock or a Blake Shelton, but they're just good local independent businesses, and it seems to me like they're being sort of discriminated against by the mayor.
Well, the mayor and some on city council, as well as NDOT and others, and they see them as the cash cow to help them build infrastructure, but at the same time, they're not doing anything to try to help them stay in business. And when you look at Acme in general, I mean, what that individual did is went and saved a building from demolition, a historic building from demolition, restored it, brought it back, used it to feed people, to house people, to help people in natural disasters. And then all of a sudden to request a meeting, never get a meeting, then get the quote, get the tax increase, can't get any relief from it. It takes over 1.5 to 2 years to even get an appeal heard in Davidson County. It becomes a nightmare. And then the message that's being sent, unfortunately, from Metro is, why would someone want to go invest in downtown? And that's not what we need in Nashville. We want Tennesseans to invest in downtown. There's a lot of great owners downtown, a lot of great owners. And so, we're going to do what we need to do from the state to protect those businesses and to protect Tennesseans in general from these property taxes and woke policies.
Speaker of the Tennessee House, Cameron Sexton, joining us. We'll return in about 15 seconds. Got to check the roads on WTN. As far as weather goes, mostly cloudy, a high of 62, possible showers tonight. Mr. Speaker, you had mentioned that move with a statewide property tax to not allow a statewide property tax, and that seems like an easy couple of passes through the state legislature to go to a referendum. Some people had criticized that as a solution looking for a problem that didn't really exist, particularly with our conservative state legislature. But, I had to remind folks, many years ago, as you probably remember, there was a Republican governor that tried to implement an income tax on the state. And so I would say that is justification for what you folks did there in the state legislature. Did you get any real pushback from that?
No, I mean, I think, of course, the other side of the aisle is going to push back on that. They never seen the tax they don't like, and they never want to do away with the tax. And so, obviously, there was pushback from them. But, from our standpoint, it is a possibility because it's still on the books.
Yep.
And so if we put it in the state constitution and say that can never happen, then it will never happen. And to undo the state constitution is a lot harder than do a state law. We did the same thing with the income tax. We put it in the state constitution. Tennessee will never have a state income tax. Hopefully next year or in November of this year, Yes on 2 will pass, and there will be no statewide property tax either. So you're protected on both sides. It's a way to ensure that you're not going to be taxed in those endeavors.
All right, some rapid fire here. So somebody sent me a note the other day. I've got a lot of hate listeners, if you can imagine that, Mr. Speaker. So
I know the feeling.
Yeah, I know you do. Somebody sent me a note the other day about this bill to display the 10 Commandments in schools. He said that it would require the state schools to display the 10 Commandments in schools, but it actually doesn't. What it does, it just gives local school boards the permission. They allow it to do so. Talk about the bill regarding the 10 Commandments.
Yeah, Representative Hill had that bill on the House floor last week, and all it does is allow the local education associations to make that decision if they would want to put it in their schools or not. It doesn't force them, just gives them the capability of doing it if they so desire.
The train wreck that is NES does, of course, continue. In the state legislature, there has been talk of more oversight, maybe even a takeover. What is the latest on that aspect of the NES story?
Yeah, I've met with a couple of the NES board members. It seems like the chair of the NES board has changed her tune on the CEO potentially, based on what I read, if you believe everything you read in the paper, which I don't. But anyway, we'll see what that looks like. Look, I think we've got 3 or 4 different caption bills out there to handle the directions we want to go. Obviously, expanding the board, having more representations from those in the outer lining areas, meaning in the other counties, they need to be on that board, up to the removal of the CEO, up to forcing them to sell off anything outside of their jurisdiction, meaning to the co-ops that the property they have outside of the Davidson County lines, because you're not supposed to go outside your geographical barrier. And so there's a lot of different avenues we can go. We can look at oversight by the Tennessee Public Utility Commission. Right now, they only have TVA who contracts that out. And what we've seen with the Memphis City Schools is when you contract out that authority, sometimes on the audits, you don't get the best results, and they don't do the work diligently. And so we're looking at all avenues of what we need to do. It might not just be one thing. It might be multiple.
Congressman Andy Ogles has asked the state legislature for a full audit of NES. Can you do that, and will it happen? What are your thoughts?
We can talk to the comptroller's office about the full audit. Look, at the end of the day, my understanding is they have over $500 million in reserve that they could be using. They reduced the budget or didn't spend all the money on tree trimming, which caused a lot of issues in this ice storm. I think it's you can look at it. I think it's not like, I don't see it as a financial despair like what we've seen at TSU and then the Memphis schools. And Memphis schools make TSU look like a clean audit, to be honest with you, if you really want to know.
Yeah.
I don't think their audit at NES, I don't think there's been financial issues we can audit. I think it's a leadership issue and the lack of ability to understand what to do in crisis and what to do in day-to-day activities. It's a leadership issue, I believe, but we can ask the comptroller.
Finally, school voucher debate, of course, heating up again. You've got massive interest across the state, and a bill forwarded by the Democrats wanted more information on who was receiving the scholarships and whether those students went to public or private schools, amongst other things, incomes of those who received them as well. Are you getting a lot of pushback from folks on the left about the expansion of this program?
Well, they don't want the program, first of all. So anything they say they want transparency is kind of funny because they don't want it. Look, at the end of the day, what I will say is we'll have transparency, and we know the incomes. One of the limiting factors, and we're looking at legislation, I talked to the governor's office about this yesterday, is that if you can imagine, the Department of Education, we do not have the student data at the state level. So we don't know what the students' names are and what schools they're in. We don't know what their TCAP scores are. All that information is kept locally, and it's never moved back to the state level. And so we're looking at legislation this year to get that data back to the department so we can have the students' information so that we can understand, what school they're in. We can understand their TCAP scores, and we can have other information. And then we can provide total transparency for that student individually. And so we can talk about to the student level. Right now, the state can only talk to the school level and then the district level, which doesn't really help when you're trying to see if that individual individual child is doing better through school choice. And so that's one of the limiting factors. The other information we collect. And so we know that the income levels, we know that in the first 20,000 last year, 10,000 scholarships were below the income level, 10,000 were above. We do have that information. If the parents want to click, if they are currently in public school, then that's on there. It's up to their discretion if they want to click that box. It does give them preference in the pecking order for the scholarship. So if they are in public schools, it's important. And so we'll have transparency. But look, what I will say is it is now a bipartisan issue in the state of Tennessee as far as people who want school choice and have the opportunity. We've had a lot of issues with school boards. We have a lot of issues with administration. We should not limit someone's educational opportunities and success by their address, zip code, or income levels. And they should have an opportunity to find the right place that benefits them, that provides the best education for their child. And that's really what we're trying to do.
All right. Always great to have you on, sir. Speaker of the Tennessee House, Cameron Sexton. Did we miss anything? It feels like we got a lot in.
No, I think we got in. I'm drinking coffee, so I appreciate having coffee with you this morning.
All right. Thank you very much, sir, and we'll talk to you again soon. It is 6:52 On Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7, Joan has the news coming up at 7. Joan.
Yeah, why some cities and counties around Tennessee could soon be losing money. That story is coming up here at 7 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Joan. 6:52 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Dan Mandis here for my friends at Brentwood Jewelry. For over 50 years, Brentwood Jewelry has been proudly serving the Brentwood community with exceptional style and exceptional deals every single day. Now, this is a family-owned and operated business spanning 3 generations. They are deeply rooted in this community, from Salem Service and Special Forces to his sons serving as local firefighters. The Amamali family is dedicated to giving back in a time that it is imperative to support local. Shop my friends at Brentwood Jewelry. Now, their address, 7012 Church Street East, located in the heart of Brentwood, just off Franklin Road. Find them online, BrentwoodJewelry.com. Exceptional style, exceptional deals every day for over 50 years, BrentwoodJewelry.com. $6:54 on Super Talk. You've heard me talk about my cataract surgery at Vision for Life. And again, it has been life-changing. Now, I didn't even realize how much my vision was holding me back until I had clear sight again. Reading small print, not a problem. Driving at night, no more halos or blurry lights. Watching TV, working, even just being outside. The colors are brighter, more vibrant. Details are sharper, and I feel more confident in everything that I do. This is why I really appreciate Dr. Jeff Horn and all the pros at Vision for Life. Now, I didn't notice how much I was compensating before. I just thought, frankly, that I was getting older, squinting, adjusting, avoiding things that I used to enjoy. Now, though, I do feel like I've got a new lease on life, and my only regret is not doing it sooner. So if you are where I was, tired of struggling with your vision, do what I did and talk to Dr. Jeff Horn and the team at Vision for Life. They are the best at what they do, and yes, they truly do care. Tell them Dan told you to reach out. Schedule your consult today, 615-436-2020, 615-436-2020, or visit visionforlife.com, visionforlife.com. 6:58, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning to you, friends. Hope you are doing well. I thought we had a good chat with Speaker of the Tennessee House, Cameron Sexton. By the way, programming note, unfortunately, Chris is out sick today. The good news is that Brian Wilson is going to be filling in. We're going to get a little bit of a preview of Brian's show coming up here. It is Wednesdays with Wilson. So we have Brian standing by for his weekly hit as well. And all right, so just to put this thing to bed, Joan and Sam, the people have spoken, and a vast, vast majority of them do not want us to podcast our reading of Eric Swalwell's erotic poetry.
From my perspective, that's one too many vasts. But yes, the majority have spoken.
So we will not be podcasting that by itself, and that bit will be buried in the depths of bad broadcasting forever. I hear Jones laughing over there.
That was Brian that you heard in the preview.
Oh, is Brian?
Yeah.
Oh, is he there?
Yeah, it definitely wasn't me.
Oh.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope. I would never left.
I'll talk to Brian about it because both of you two want this thing podcast, which I do not understand why. I've had a lot of awful moments in my broadcasting career, and I think you people know what I'm talking about. However, this probably was one of, if not the worst. You know what? I swung for the fences, and sometimes it's swung on and missed. Somebody who never misses is Joan Jones. She's coming up with the news at 7 on WTN.
Good morning. It's 7 o'clock, and I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. We're at 62 degrees now, about 67 for our high later on today, with rain right behind it. So stick around for Stefano's forecast coming up. Wilson County is apparently not going to host an ICE detention facility. That news comes after reports circulated that the Department of Homeland Security had purchased a property in Lebanon, but no officials could confirm it. WSMV4's Braden Ross says that ICE issued a news statement late yesterday that walked back an earlier statement.
Tuesday afternoon, I reached out to ICE again to ask about this, and that's when they sent us this statement. Quote, ICE has not purchased a facility in Lebanon, Tennessee. That statement was sent out without proper approval, and this mistake has since been rectified.
Now, ICE has signed leases for 2 office spaces in Nashville, but they are not holding facilities. Tennessee state lawmakers are advancing a couple of new bills that could take state money away from towns and cities in Tennessee if they do not comply with federal immigration policies.
One of these bills would require law enforcement to work with federal immigration authorities like ICE. Another requires city and county governments to verify all people who apply for public benefits are U.S. citizens.
Channel 4's Holly Thompson there. Now, both bills advanced out of subcommittees yesterday. Then it's on to 2 more committee hearings before heading to the House floor. We learned yesterday that Tennessee federal judge Paula Zinnes has once again ruled that ICE cannot take Kilmar Abrego Garcia back into custody because the Trump administration failed to provide the court, she said, with any good reason to believe they plan to remove him to a third country like Africa, as they had announced. That order clears the way for the Maryland man to take part in a key hearing in Nashville next week. ABC's Stephen Portnoy.
A newly unsealed order from a Tennessee-based federal judge cites an email sent last April by a senior Justice Department official who described the prosecution of Kilmar Abrego Garcia as a top priority of the department. Attorneys for Abrego Garcia are hoping to have the charges of human smuggling stemming from 2022 tossed, claiming they're the product of a selective and vindictive prosecution. The judge overseeing the case has ordered a hearing next month into why the government has brought the charges.
Abrego Garcia has been living in the U.S. illegally for years and has alleged ties to MS-13. Market numbers brought to you by Beacon Capital Management, online at beaconcm.com. We've got the Dow futures up 80, NASDAQ futures up 114, S&P futures gaining 24. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News. Watch yourself in Antioch, westbound side of 24. It's a crash that has the right shoulder blocked off just before Hickory Hollow Parkway. And in Laverne on the eastbound side of 24, the milling and paving project continues with 3 left lanes blocked. Now in Una, Couchville Pike at Reynolds Road, there's a crash involving injuries. And just one more in Providence on Harding Place at Shades Crest Drive. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.706 Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning to your friends. Hope you are doing well.
And their beauty was formless and magnificent.
Oh my God, you're not doing that.
A flurry of limbs and nails. She chased, and I ran. I chased, and she ran.
Killing me, Smalls.
Atop my hotel, we stopped. I left for cloth and tan. My anxious arm, she bit my scar. Is beautiful. While I screamed, oh no, I can't.
He's going.
Do this
He's let him finish. He's
Okay,
already.
I'm sorry.
I'm done.
It was beautiful, Brian. Well done.
So, thank you, Brian, for bringing that back up to the conversation.
Oh my goodness, is this the most embarrassing thing ever? Well, not the most embarrassing thing, because I saw AOC try to answer a question over in Germany.
Well, hold on. Okay, so a couple things. Number one, Brian was reading Eric Swalwell's erotic poetry from when he was 21 years old. The Daily Mail, as you may or may not know, has now published it, and it is. I mean, we did it.
It's so cringeworthy. It's just the worst.
I'm not sure which is worse, Brian, the cringeworthy nature of his poem, or the three of us trying to read it in the 5 o'clock hour, which we tried to do. And
speak for yourself, Mandis.
Yeah, whatever. Anyway, so let's.
I'm sure it was great.
No, it wasn't. AOC. Let's talk about AOC real quick. So. I've got a conspiracy theory, but first of all, go ahead. You've got the audio, so go ahead and play the audio of AOC trying to. I don't even know which audio cut you have.
Well, this is just the one where she's asked if you're in a security conference and you're talking about the United States' commitment to security worldwide. No doubt, the question of Taiwan is going to come up.
Would and should the U.S. actually commit U.S. troops to defend Taiwan if China were to move?
Very fair question.
You know, I think that this is such a, I think that this is a.
This is not edited, by the way.
This is, of course, a very longstanding policy of the United States. And I think what we are hoping for is that we want to make sure that we never get to that point.
Oh my gosh. I mean, and she sort of rallied at the end, but I mean, her point was like, clearly it was a question that she should have been ready to answer, and she had no answer. You compare and contrast that with the recent performance of our Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, just fielding questions left and right. And it's a perfect example of why, Democrats, I don't think, I think this destroys her career. I don't think she survives something like this, because if she wants to be the president of the United States, which one hears, you got to be able to answer a question like that.
Okay, so Brian, here's my question. Is it possible that the Democrats knew that she wasn't ready for prime time, sent her out there so that it's like a put up or shut up moment, and clearly she shanked it. But the Democrats had to know that she wasn't ready. Are they trying to just get her out of the way?
Well, I don't know that she asked their permission to go. I think there are people out there who truly think that AOC is the answer. I mean, they truly believe that.
Even now, after that, I can't imagine.
Yeah, but I don't. After that, I mean, look, that is if she runs for any higher office,
yeah,
this clip will come out, and the hemming and the hawing will just destroy it, because it's very clear she doesn't have any clue how to answer that question.
Well, and
if you're going to be the leader of the free world, you sort of need an answer to that question.
If you're a member of Congress, you need to know that answer.
Well, absolutely. I mean, really, honestly.
You mentioned Marco Rubio. I played some audio bites of Marco's speech that he gave.
Fantastic speech. Yeah.
Unbelievable speech. It was really good.
I'm a big fan of Marco Rubio. In fact, when he ran, I in Florida and I was down there, I voted for him because I wanted him to. I thought he was a really smart guy. And here's the thing about Marco Rubio that is so cool, is that you get into office and, you have the opportunity to do the homework and learn the material, or you can choose not to and just wing it, like a lot of politicians do. Marco Rubio, when he got into a position of power in Washington, he did the bookwork. He did the homework. He has a complete and thorough understanding, perhaps one of the best understandings of world politics that I've ever seen. And he did not waste his opportunity. He did not mess with he took his shot when he had it, if you'll excuse the Hamilton reference.
You know what's interesting?
I think he's a remarkably smart guy, and the contrast between him and AOC is just. Really, honestly, you could actually think about this person as your leader of the free world, the commander-in-chief? I don't think so.
Well, and I think that Marco Rubio has the respect of world leaders as well. But you know what's interesting, though, with all of that, Marco Rubio, I know that you remember when Chris Christie torpedoed Marco Rubio in the presidential primary years ago. Because basically what Christie said, and you remember this, I don't have the audio handy, I wish I did, but he basically said that Marco Rubio has a very specific set, lines that he recites every time something comes up. And I thought that was, even though it was kind of true with Marco Rubio, I didn't think that really truly represented how well-rounded Marco Rubio was. You just said that this guy knows the issues inside and out.
He does.
But
he really does.
He got torpedoed by Chris Christie, which I thought was kind of sad because, again, I liked Marco Rubio.
Well, I mean, you could say, well, he has set answers for set questions. Well, that means you have principles, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That you believe certain things and you stand upon them and you can defend them. I don't have a problem with people who have set answers. I have a problem with people who have a closed mind, and I don't get that sense from Marco Rubio.
Well, look at where Chris Christie is now as opposed to where Marco Rubio is now.
Yeah, exactly.
So, all right, moving on. Let's talk real quick about the SAVE Act and voter integrity laws. Yeah. I know that you know that Nick Shirley, I covered this yesterday. Nick Shirley was out in California, found all kinds of voter fraud, but it's like fishing in a stocked pond. It is everywhere you go.
Right. I think what we're going to find in California makes what happened in Minnesota look like a bunch of pikers. They didn't have a clue as to how to really do fraud and abuse. Hold my beer, Minnesota. Let California show you how it's done. And I think we're going to find a tremendous amount of waste, fraud, and abuse out there. In fact, I think we're going to find this all over the country. And kudos to Nick Shirley and the others who are out there digging this stuff up, because, this is what journalists used to do.
Yeah.
This was the kind of stuff that this would have been a juicy story back in the day. Jump on this and run with it. But there's just nobody that seems real interested in doing that these days. And I think it really speaks to the state of journalism in America today. But I got to tell you, this whole situation out there in California is going to be eye-opening, I think, before it's all said and done.
Well, the big question about all of this, and I know that it's been, talked to death, but the filibuster and what will John Thune and the Republicans do in the Senate regarding the filibuster, because the Save America Act simply isn't going to pass without it. We'll get to that part of the conversation with Brian Wilson. Coming up next, it is 7:15. Time to check the roads on WTN. Mostly cloudy today, a high of 62, possible showers tonight. So, Brian, there are a couple of questions. Number one is, why can't John Thune just get this thing out of committee and get it to the floor vote? That's number one. But number two, what about the filibuster, and what about the return of the talking filibuster?
Listen, I don't think that the filibuster is the problem. I think the filibuster is the solution. And I think there are those, excuse me, on Capitol Hill who've now come to the conclusion that, the problem is not that we have this filibuster. In case you don't know, what happens is anything hard in the Senate requires 60 votes, because there's always one member who will raise their hand and say, well, I'm going to filibuster that if you bring it to the floor. And it's not, they never do it. They never bring it to the floor and force their hand.
Right.
So what they do is that it's the threat of the filibuster that really requires 60 votes. Hey, I say, we just need to go back to the day of put up or shut up. You're going to threaten the filibuster? Then get on the floor and talk yourself until you don't have a voice, and then we can eventually get off a dead center and cast a ballot here. So, the filibuster is the solution. But we don't want to have to, they don't, well, that's hard. We don't, well, it's hard to have a filibuster and it takes up a lot of time. Oh, well, I'm okay with that because you know what? I think the government which governs best is that which governs least. And if you're filibustering all the time, maybe you're not passing as many laws. I count that as a win in my book.
Yep. Absolutely right.
But the filibuster is not the problem. It's the solution. Force their hand. Make them do a talking filibuster, and then we can move on to a vote.
And you know what? The Republicans are just fine with doing that, too. So if the roles are reversed and Republicans are in the minority, well, then they'll have to do the same thing. So that makes all the sense in the world.
I think we're going to see a filibuster before long. It'll be interesting to see how long it lasts.
NES, of course, NES is in the news. I was just speaking to Cameron Sexton about NES as well. But the more we find out about this utility, the worse it gets.
Well, I discovered that have you seen the story about the sewage leak in Maryland? It's unbelievable. Millions of gallons of sewage is flowing into the Potomac River, and it's out of control. And what was interesting is I saw a story today in the Daily Caller, which said that the reason, perhaps, that this utility was in such bad shape. Is this going to sound familiar to you? It might have something to do that they spent $520 million on DEI projects.
$520 million?
Yeah, that's the story in the Daily Call.
Wow.
Which is exactly what we heard about NES, another utility that spent a lot of money and effort on DEI projects for that utility, instead of actually doing the tree trimming and in the case in Maryland and making sure that the system didn't flood millions of raw sewage into the Potomac River.
On that issue, Brian, I've been totally caught up in this. 240 million gallons of raw sewage dumped into the Potomac River. 5 to 7 million people rely on the Potomac for their drinking water.
Oh,
that's
my goodness
right.
Gracious.
It's horrifying.
It's a disaster,
Yes.
and it's a very ugly thing. But again, what's the common theme here? Utility
DEI.
companies that put a lot of money into DEI instead of doing what they should be doing.
But they're blaming President Trump.
Oh, of course, it's Trump's fault. It's Trump's fault. Yeah. By the way, the NES thing, there's this tragic story in the Tennessean about a 92-year-old man who froze to death. The temperature in his house got down to 47 degrees, and by the time other elderly members of the family could get over there and check on him, he had passed away. And there was some question about, how did this happen and how did things fall through the cracks? And there's a one little line in there that said, the city should have let us know about this. Here's what I'm going to tell you. In times of emergency, or when an emergency is pending, you just can't count on your city to come through for you. You can't count on a utility company to come through for you. You really have to have a plan and take it upon your own responsibility to care for you and yours. And I don't criticize these folks. It sounds like it was a very tragic situation. But the bottom line is the whole mentality seems to be, well, the city should have done better. Yeah. Well, maybe we should have all done better in protecting those who needed help during this tragic time.
Brian, in our remaining moments, I don't know how close you've been paying attention to something going on in Wilson County, but yesterday there
what
were
is that all about? Yeah,
there all these stories about how ICE was going to bring a facility to Lebanon, and then they weren't, then they were, then they weren't. Complete and utter train wreck as far as it looks like communication between, I don't know if it was the administration and local authorities, or if they mistakenly said that they were going to open a facility in Lebanon, Tennessee versus Lebanon, Pennsylvania.
Right.
But we had all kinds of people out there at a commissioners meeting or city council meeting last night screaming, shame, 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 and all that stuff, protesting an ICE facility that apparently was never planned to be in Wilson County.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how this thing. I saw Senator Mark Pody, got on pretty early and said, you know what, I've been digging around at this. I don't find that this is correct. He was the first to sort of send up the flare. One way or the other, people just go off half-cocked. What was it that our friend Bill Valentine used to say? The Van Gogh listener.
Yes.
It's somebody who listens with half an ear or only one ear.
Yep.
I think that's what we had there. Somebody listened and half got the information half right or half wrong. And as a result, it spiraled out of control. But yeah, apparently there's nothing to it.
No.
I just wonder how in the hell that can happen. How in the heck do you have a situation where the information gets so bungled up that it could, you get something that confuse, and nobody would ever do this.
Yeah,
Lebanon,
it's crazy.
Lebanon, Tennessee, with Lebanon,
Pennsylvania.
I've been to both, and I can tell you there's a lot of difference between those two communities.
I bet there is. Brian, coming up, I'm going to speak with Stephen Bucci, of course, a national security expert in foreign policy and all that stuff, about Iran. President Trump is saying that he's going to take, some part in the discussions between his administration and Iran regarding their nuclear capabilities. Just generically speaking, I thought it was interesting that as they are getting ready to have this conversation, yesterday, Iran decided to close parts of the Strait of Hormuz for some saber rattling, it would seem. After what happened to their nuclear program and their nuclear facilities, courtesy of Donald Trump, I think over the summer, what are they doing?
Well, this is that old saying, fool around and find out.
Yes.
I don't think that they understand that they're dealing with a man who, when he says he's going to do something, he's going to do it. And, if you want to come to the table and see if you can work something out to avoid, this punishing beating that you're about to get, then that's all good and fine. But, if you get too cute or you get too smart, you're going to find out that Donald Trump doesn't mess around. Look, I think we are probably headed to some kind of conflict with Iran. I don't think it'll be boots on the ground in a big way, but there's only so far you can go to affect change on the ground unless you're willing to go on the ground. So I don't know exactly what he has in mind, but I will tell you, if Venezuela was any indication, I would not want to be on the receiving end of anything that came from the U.S. military right now, because we're not pulling back. When we go in somewhere, we go in somewhere.
Yep, you're right. All right, Brian Wilson going to be filling in for an ailing Chris Hand coming up after the news at 9. Brian, thanks as always.
Oh, and I'm going to go back to reading my poetry now.
You have fun with that. By yourself. See you later. It's 7:24.
I hope he brings some more while he's on the air.
Sure.
Yeah.
Then I wouldn't feel so bad about what we did in the 5. Hey, by the way, 3508 says this. Are you guys not allowed to talk about anything with all the Epstein atrocities to these children? Are you ever going to talk about this? It's Wednesday. I think over the past week, I've done about 3 or 4 segments on Epstein. So, yes, 3508, I rarely repeat segments. I think everybody knows that. And by the way, people tell me I should. They get mad when I don't. But I've done many Epstein segments. But today, I've got a lot of really important stuff. I don't have Epstein in my roster today, but I believe, from what I understand, Joan, that Les Wexner is the guy who was in charge of Victoria's Secret. I think
Yes.
that was. So he's going to be called in to testify in front of Congress, in front of one of the committees. So yeah, I mean, I've done many had many conversations on the podcast as well about the Epstein files. So yes, when it's in the news, and it's in the news almost every day, but I've got a lot of stuff that I wanted to cover locally today as well, and so it's not top of my list today, but. Rest assured, 3508, I have covered this extensively over the years. It is 7:25, and Joan's got the news coming up at 7:30. Joan.
Yeah, so what did Metro Council decide last night about the employment of NES's CEO? Also, there's a desperate search going on right now for some missing skiers. And we've got an update on that coming up here at 7:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Joan Jones. It is 7:25. Dan Mandis here. Friends, if you didn't meet your goals in January, help is just a phone call away. At Low T Center, they are expanding their New Year's promo to include, yes, the month of February. You can book a free testosterone test and pick up discounted peptides and GLP-1 while you are there. So if you've been feeling exhausted and maybe you've lost your drive, book a free testosterone test at Synergenex and Low T Center. No risks, no commitments, just answers. Now, if you need testosterone replacement therapy, don't pay hundreds of dollars out of pocket for a franchise or settle for low-dose TRT from your doctor just for insurance purposes. No, Synergenex and Low T Center do take most insurance plans, and here's what they do. They customize each dose of TRT for maximum and safe results. Find them online. Go to Synergenex.com and LowTCenter.com, and you can book your free test today. $7:27, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Dan Mandis here for the Wellness Institute of Nashville. And listen, I am Dan Mandis, and the Wellness Institute of Nashville has my seal of approval on this deal that could change your life. Listen, when I came to Nashville, I was riddled with back and neck pain. They helped fix me right up with non-surgical spinal decompression therapy. It did change my life, and it can change your life as well. And for a better price right now, when you call them at 615-246-5009, you get 47% off non-surgical spinal decompression therapy. Let me give you that number one more time for that 47% discount, 615-246-5009. So if you have back or neck pain, sciatica, slipped or bulging spinal discs, herniated discs, spinal stenosis, numbness or weakness in the arms and legs, fingers or toes, they can help you right now at 615-246-5009. By the way, they do a lot of other things at the Wellness Institute of Nashville. Experience robotic lasers, anti-gravity machines, cryo machines, stem cell stimulation machines, all right here at the Wellness Institute of Nashville, 615-246-5009, painisbad.com.
morning, now 7:31. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Metro Nashville Council deciding last night to postpone a vote on whether to fire NES's CEO. That vote now is taking place in March.
In the meantime, the city is launching a commission that's been formed right now, and they're going to review what exactly went wrong during that historic power outage during January's ice storm. So that commission is going to look at the entire storm response and recommend changes so this does not happen again. At the same time, more relief is coming for Nashvillians. A one-time water and sewer credit passed its first step, and the city is formally requesting federal help for residents. This is through FEMA.
Channel 4's Joylyn Bukovac reporting there. Happening at this hour, a desperate search for 9 missing backcountry skiers. They've been buried by a major avalanche near Lake Tahoe. Nevada County Sheriff Shannon Moon saying that crews reached 6 survivors last night who took cover under a tarp.
We're still looking for missing people on the mountain, and we're evaluating injuries for the folks that we have and getting them extricated so that they can get a higher level of care.
Forecasters say areas of the Sierras could get 4 to 8 feet of snowfall this week. A federal judge declaring a mistrial in the case of 9 alleged Antifa members who were charged in the ambush shooting of a police officer at a Texas ICE detention center. You'll remember this happened on July 4th of last year. Well, during the jury selection yesterday, one of the defense attorneys was noted wearing a T-shirt depicting civil rights icons, including MLK Jr. The judge said he was left with no other choice but to declare a mistrial, saying, "I don't know why in the world you would think that's appropriate." That defense attorney may be sanctioned now. A new jury pool will be brought in next week to start the process all over again. That is the latest news. We've got traffic and weather ahead. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Dan Mendes here for Xfinity and their 5-year price guarantee gold medal celebration. When Team USA is on, you can almost see the moment a kid starts believing they could be next. Now, while Xfinity cannot guarantee that, they can guarantee something just as important, that your internet price is not going to change for 5 years. No contracts and no commitments. So while your kid is ordering gear online, streaming highlight reels, or video chatting with coaches, your Xfinity internet price is not going to budge, my friends. And who knows, by the time the next Olympic Winter Games rolls around, your kid could be getting fitted for their very own Team USA uniforms. And guess what? You will still be paying the same price for reliable Wi-Fi for 5 years. And there's even more to enjoy with the Xfinity Gold Medal Celebration. Now through February 22nd, get our best price on gig Wi-Fi for 5 years, guaranteed. That is just $50 a month. Plus, get Peacock Premium included for 2 years. That is a $10.99 a month value. Xfinity, imagine that. Proud partner of Team USA. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and autopay with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. Actual speeds vary. To get started, call 1-800-XFINITY. Visit Xfinity.com or drop into a store today. Dan Mendes here for USS United Structural Systems. By the way, Stephen Bucci standing by for an update on the situation with Iran. You know, Tennessee continues to be in recovery mode. USS is here to help. Now, we've got flooded homes and weakened infrastructure throughout the mid-state. You know, since way back in 1994, United Structural Systems has helped thousands of families and businesses restore their homes after foundation damage. You know where that damage comes from, of course, crazy weather like we just had. And year after year, tens of thousands of Middle Tennesseans have been helped by USS. I'm one of them. I was a client before I was an endorser. This is a great company. From schools to homes and community involvement, USS, they've been huge in times of trouble and despair. You know that USS is about to help build their 10th Habitat for Humanity home. That's right. 25 USS volunteers will be out in force getting her done for a needy family in Ashland City. Now, how can USS help you? If you've got foundation issues, if you've got water issues, go with the company tied to our community. United Structural Systems. Gain peace of mind with USS and their foundation repair and waterproofing services. Find them online, USSTN.com. Tell them Dan Mandis told you to reach out, 615-488-7855.
Well, we have some issues this morning on 24 in the eastbound lanes. Eastbound 24 in Laverne, you've got the milling and paving project going on, and 3 left lanes are blocked off right now, causing a giant delay between Old Hickory Boulevard and Almaville. There was a crash on eastbound 24 in Laurel Hill. This is right at Bell Road. It's in the construction backup that accident took place. Also, Antioch, Murfreesboro Pike, and Hobson Pike. That is a crash scene as well. And one more in Antioch on Cambridge Road at Mountain High Drive. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.738 Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Welcome on into Nashville's Morning News. Want to say good morning to Stephen Bucci from the Heritage Foundation, foreign policy expert. And Stephen, always great to have you on Nashville's Morning News. And so I thought it was interesting where yesterday Iran, heading into these discussions with the Trump administration, they decide to do a little bit of saber rattling, and they close part of the Strait of Hormuz to have some, little war games. I thought that was an interesting flex by Iran.
Yeah. First, thanks for having me back on the show. But you're right. This is, in my opinion, and it's the mullahs in desperation mode. They're crying out for continued talks, even throwing some crazy ideas out there that they think President Trump might be interested in. But at the same time, they're putting up, pictures of the Gerald Ford and the Abraham Lincoln looking like coffins, that they're going to sink these ships to the bottom of the sea, which, no offense, they have no capability to do. But remember, a lot of this stuff is for their own domestic consumption, because they're also trying to hold back internal dissent. When they see America gathering like this, they realize the time is short, and that's going to embolden the dissidents within Iran. So they're talking smack. And it's given that the Israelis basically defanged them almost entirely, we finished the job with their nuclear program. But now they've decided to resurrect it, and I think they're going to pay a price for it.
So do you see anything really, I don't know, what's the right word? Do you see anything coming of these discussions between the Trump administration and Iran? And by the way, it's about their nuclear capabilities. And, what exactly are they negotiating? What do we want from them, and what do they want from us? Or, what's the crux of the issues?
We want them to give up on this campaign to get nuclear weapons. That's what they've been doing from the beginning. That's what they twisted John Kerry and the Obama administration into believing, oh no, they just want civilian nuclear power. That's a bunch of nonsense. Because they're also developing intercontinental ballistic missiles and intermediate range ballistic missiles that you don't use to deliver rugs or nuts and dates. You use them to deliver weapons of mass destruction, and they want it badly. This latest negotiation, the Mullah's people have offered, well, you know, if we could work together on the nuclear plan and we'll share oil, and boy, you could make a lot of money, America, if you deal with us, because, you know, we could be good partners. But the whole time it's all about holding us at arm's length, trying to forestall any actions that would encourage their internal adversaries, the people of Iran, from rising up and causing more problems. And I think they're going to fall short. President Trump loves to make a deal, and I think the Iranians recognize that. They're masterful negotiators, but they're still fobbing them along. And I think he's going to realize that. Jared Kushner, Steve Witkoff are going to realize it. And I think the largest buildup in the Middle East since the first Gulf War is going to start to be more than just a buildup and start to be a group on the offensive.
Well, and one of the questions I would have is, okay, because we know that the president, we have quite the arsenal in the region. I think they've probably been there for a while. Let me ask you this: what would a strike against Iran, which is, you know, the president has been talking about this and sort of threatening this, if you will. What would a strike against Iran look like? I mean, we know that President Trump is loath to put boots on the ground. So what would it take to, I don't know, teach Iran another lesson?
I think at the very least you will see really strong attacks on all of the IRGC Quds Force facilities that we know their location. The IRGC, the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, are the big hammer for repression and terrorism around the world, and the most loyal people to the mullahs. The military kind of wishy-washy. They'll do what they're told. They're not very capable. But I think you will see the IRGC Quds Force hit hard. You will see all of their missile production facilities taken out, as well as additional hits on their nuclear research areas hit again. And you will probably see some hits on communications facilities and some of the government facilities as well. Perhaps their legislature, some of the different palaces that the mullahs, you know, men of peace and poverty, are living in. I think you'll see us trying to decapitate the regime, not specifically for regime change, but because that's where the power is in that country, and that's what will help the people of Iran the most in their efforts to get free of this repressive regime.
7:45, more with Stephen Bucci coming up. We've got 15 seconds for traffic on WTN. Very good. As far as your weather goes, it's going to be mostly cloudy, a high of 62, and possible showers. Stephen Bucci is our guest. Does Donald Trump have a red line with Iran?
He has not specifically delineated one, you know, in the same vein that President Obama did with Syria, which he then, when they crossed it, didn't do anything. I think President Trump has learned that that's a foolish methodology. Now, what he's communicated to the mullahs, I don't know. But publicly, he has not laid out a red line other than they're not going to get nuclear weapons. He is not going to allow that. And the earlier strikes when they were fighting with Israel, prove that. And I think some of the stuff we see coming up will reinforce that. Look, Iran's a gigantic country, very difficult terrain, lots of mountains. They have a lot of facilities buried in those mountains. We know where those are with the help of Israeli intelligence. And I think we're going to take a lot of those out. But you're not going to see America invade Iran with the ground troops. That's just not in the cards. I don't think any administration in America would want to do that. For sure, President Trump doesn't. That's not his style. But I think you'll see some really serious airstrikes, missile strikes, taking out all of their organs of power that they use to repress their own people and to act like they can push the rest of the world around. That's just not going to be allowed anymore.
All right, Stephen Bucci, always great to have you on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Have a great rest of week, and we'll talk to you next time.
Sounds good. Thank you for having me, Dan. Take care.
All right, Joan.
Yes.
That was not me typing.
It was not.
So if you look at the super text line, I'm in the middle of this interview, and people are hammering me like, Mandis, we can hear you typing. It wasn't me.
Oh.
People are listening on the radio. People are listening on iHeart radio as well, or whatever that is. And there's something going on with Bucci's line. I don't know what it was, but it wasn't me typing. Like, that was distracting to me. If you're watching on Super Talk TV, you saw me asking Sam, what does that sound?
So instead of suffering in silence, he ropes me into it. I was not aware of the sound until I was made to be aware of the sound.
Did you hear it, Joan?
I did hear, but, when I'm in here, I'm listening to other things and, writing stories. So, but it wasn't me either, so I don't know.
Yeah, I'm like asking Sam if whatever. I love Stephen Bucci.
46.75. The show sounds like Murder, She Wrote. Angela Lansbury.
I don't understand the reference. I've never seen Murder, She Wrote.
Oh, wow.
You've never seen Murder, She Wrote?
No, Joan, I'm not 90.
Neither am I, and I don't even like Angela Lansbury, but I still know what it is.
Well, why did they say that? Because do I sound old? I know I don't sound old.
Because of the sound of the typing.
Yeah, she's an author. And
Murder, She Wrote?
Yeah.
Wrote, W-R-O-T-E, like...
Listen.
Writes her books on a typewriter.
Listen, you two, I was busy watching like Gilligan's Island and stuff when I was younger. I didn't watch no Murder, She Wrote.
Okay.
Seemed like the kind of guy to get stranded out on an island and not know how to solve a murder.
Or get off an island. All right, real quick, because now we've got a little bit of time. I had to end that interview early because it was driving me nuts, and I'm listening to it in my headphones. And Stephen Bucci's awesome. Like, he's been on with me for like even.
So maybe it was like a party line.
That's the thing. It sounded like there was somebody on.
What's a party line?
That's what it sounded like. It sounded like somebody was listening and typing at the same time.
Can you explain that? What's a party line?
You can just stop now, Sam.
What? No, what is that? I don't know what it is. I'm confused. Is that a line you call when you want to party?
Confused and facetious.
Anyway, so now we're going to play a little fun with audio because I've got a couple of minutes to fill. By the way, coming up at 8:05, I cannot wait. I'm finally going to be able to do the whole Mamdani thing.
Oh, good.
And what's going on in New York.
Yeah.
Oh, people are losing their ever-loving mind.
Well, good for them.
In New York. Yeah, you know what? You voted for this, New Yorkers. So now you got to wallow in it. So this is Kevin O'Leary, again, Mr. Wonderful. And I guess, I don't know even what they're talking about. Again, remember, fun with audio. So, but he's on with a whole bunch of Democrats, including, it looks like, Ana Navarro. And there's a big fight going on. And things got a little spicy.
All right, Kevin, a quick last word.
Oh, wow.
Which I'm
My
not sure.
My last word is, you're all nuts. Like, that's just...
Oh, my God.
Thank you, Kevin.
Guys,
am I in on that?
Okay. Look, we got to keep it together here, okay?
We are. Too late.
Honestly. I mean, there's a way to talk about these things. If you don't have anything to say, just say that, and I won't come to you next time.
Important.
You don't All right, next for us, everyone, thank you for being here.
That was a stretch. It was
Next.
insane.
Excuse me.
A shovel
Excuse
to the
me.
ballot?
Stop.
What's a shovel?
Kevin, stop.
The federal government lied.
Next for us, we are honoring a civil rights icon when we come back.
Wow.
That's what happens when you don't have a physical technical director to cut their mics off.
Yeah.
Do you know what it seems like? It seems like Abby Phillip Is it Philip or Phillips? Whatever. She's like a kindergarten teacher.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean, Joan?
Yes.
It's like trying to just
You're
like,
going to go take time out if you don't knock it off.
yeah, wrangle a bunch of cats is what it's like. So anyway, I don't know if Scott Jennings, I guess maybe he's on vacation or traveling or something, but he hasn't been on as far as I can tell in the last couple of days. At least I haven't seen any clips of him on Abby Phillips' show. I think that's because nobody actually watches Abby Phillips' show. We all watch the little clips, but nobody actually watches Abby Phillips' show. Now, I had asked earlier, why do they call Kevin O'Leary Mr. Wonderful? And Sam apparently knows the answer to that. And Sam, why do they call him? I like most of what he has to say. I've never heard anything, that repulses me. But why do they call him Mr. Wonderful?
Because of a sarcastic comment made by fellow investor Barbara Corcoran.
Yeah.
During the first season of Shark Tank in 2009, when
Got it.
O'Leary proposed a ruthless 51% equity deal to control a business, Corcoran sarcastically asked, "Well, aren't you Mr. Wonderful?"
Got it. Okay. And the name stuck.
Yeah.
Love it. All right. It is 7:52 on Super Talk 99.7. Joan's got the news coming up at 8 o'clock. Joan.
Yeah, coming up here, the latest in the Nancy Guthrie case now that the glove has been ruled out for any real evidence. It's coming up here at 8 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
All right. Thank you, Joan. Dan Mandis here for my friends at DT McCall's, a great Tennessee company. They are here for their fellow Tennesseans with great prices, selection, and value as well. I've been telling you for years about DT McCall's. They've been helping people out for, count them, 4 generations. And if you need it, they've got it at DT McCall's. We're talking about indoor furniture. If you've got a room to fill, go to DT McCall's Appliances. If it plugs in, they've got it. And they've always got specials going on to save you money on both furniture and appliances and a whole lot more. All you got to do, friends, is go to their website. It is dtmccalls.com. Specials, great prices on all the best brands of appliances like washer and dryer sets, dishwashers, and a whole lot more. They've been at it for over 100 years with a focus on customer service. And if you buy it, they're going to deliver it for free and haul away the old stuff. DT McCall's, you got your 5 locations across Middle Tennessee, Carthage, Cookeville, Lebanon, Lafayette, and Franklin. Always online, dtmccalls.com. Dan Mandis here for my friends at Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. When winter storms hit Nashville, they don't play around. Power outages, frozen lines, and busted pipes can all turn into major home disasters quickly. That's why right now is the time to call Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, your trusted team for emergencies and peace of mind protection. Now, right now, you go through Busy Bee, you can get 40% off a whole home surge protector with any electrical repair. Keep your home safe from sudden outages and voltage spikes. And if cold temperatures have wrecked your pipes, Busy Bee has you covered with $500 off select whole home water repipes. Restore your plumbing before small leaks turn into costly floods. Got a clog you can't clear? Don't wait. Ask for their 93 or free residential main line clog special. If they can't clear it, you don't pay. This winter, stay safe and stay warm and stay prepared with Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Visit them online, busybeehvac.com. Call them 615-775-7833. Busy Bee will take the sting out of your winter problems. 757 Super Talk, 99.7 WTN. The clips of Hillary Clinton, need some audio. The clips of Hillary Clinton trying to dismiss Bill Clinton's thousands, and I mean thousands of references in the Epstein files are making their way through social media. Some of these have gone viral. I want you to listen to this. Hillary laughing when asked about the creepy photos taken of Bill Clinton in a hot tub with possible Epstein victims, saying he was being philanthropic and charitable. That's right. Listen to this.
What was your reaction when you saw some of the material that has been released? I'm thinking, for example, of images of your husband apparently in a hot tub in a swimming pool on Epstein's plane. What was your reaction to that? And do you know the context surrounding some of those images?
Absolutely. And it wasn't a hot tub on a plane. It was one of the stops they made to look at philanthropic and charitable work that my husband has done, saving literally millions of lives around the world. It turned out that was done long before there was any public awareness and certainly any conviction of any crime by Jeffrey Epstein. So it was a short period of time that was in pursuit of charitable philanthropic work. A lot of people were traveling at the same time. Many staff members, guests, other supporters of the foundation. If Bill and I had a penny for every person we've taken pictures with, we would be extremely rich today.
In a hot tub.
Aren't they extremely rich today?
Yeah,
they are actually.
And I think she's mistaking philanthropic for feeling tropic. That's
yeah.
Wah, wah. All right, very good. With that note, on that note is 7:59 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Coming up next, New York, you voted for it, you got it, now you get to wallow in it. A Mamdani update on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. I'm Joan Jones with your top story. So it looks like ICE is not bringing a detention facility to Lebanon after all.
We have no confirmation that any buildings have been purchased here in our county.
So why does everyone think this facility is coming? Well, here's what happened. We reached out to ICE when we started hearing about these rumors. The first time we asked about it on Monday, an ICE spokesperson told us they wouldn't confirm office locations for the safety of their employees. But then Tuesday morning, another ICE spokesperson confirmed that ICE had in fact bought a facility in Lebanon, Tennessee.
That's WSMV4's Braden Ross. Now, at the end of all the back and forth yesterday, ICE sent out one final statement saying that the statement they sent before was sent without proper approval, and this mistake has since been rectified. ICE has rented out 2 office spaces in Nashville proper. Those will not house illegal aliens. Public outrage over the potential closure of Nashville's Acme Feed and Seed on Lower Broadway. The owner, Tom Morales, saying his property tax went up to $600,000 a year, and he now cannot afford to pay for it. Mayor Freddie O'Connell's response: "It's not up to me whether he keeps that business open. New businesses start, even as beloved old businesses close." In the Nancy Guthrie case, DNA evidence recovered from a glove did not match any samples from the FBI's national database. And now investigators are going back to early clues in this case. And a 16-year-old from the Queens was trying to film a TikTok prank when he fell 50 feet down a New York City bridge shaft Monday night. His rescue required more than 70 firefighters and first responders. Now, that team was rushed to a hospital in critical condition. Now he's stable. His friends who were with him while he was performing the stunt apparently deserted him after that fall. That is the latest news, traffic, and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Okay. Got a crash reported I-24 eastbound at Hickory Hollow Parkway, exit 60 in the construction backup. Reminder in Rutherford County, Laverne area, milling and paving with the left 3 lanes blocked at I-24 eastbound between Old Hickory Boulevard South and Almaville Road. Also in Rutherford County, crash reported in the construction backup at I-24 eastbound Old Hickory Boulevard South, exit 62, just ahead of that other accident. Injury crash at Cane Ridge Road at Mountain High Drive in Antioch. Also in Antioch, Old Hickory Boulevard at Burkett Road, there is a crash reported. And road work with the left lane blocked on I-40 eastbound at McCrory Lane, exit 192. Stop and go traffic from Kingston Springs exit there. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.806 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning to your friends, and hope you are doing well, and welcome on in to a Wednesday. It is February 18th, and I got to just remind you of who Zoran Mamdani was once when he was campaigning. Listen.
It's true. As your next mayor, I will freeze your rent.
Paid for by Zoran for NYC.
That's what he said. He said he was going to help freeze the rent of New Yorkers. All of those promises, right? From freezing rent to universal child care to child grocery, I should say city grocery stores, $30 minimum wage, taxes on millionaires and billionaires, and city-funded trans procedures. That was one of my favorites. Sanctuary city status, of course, maintained. Those were all things that Zoran Mamdani, he ran on these, but now, you know, New Yorkers are really spitting mad. You know why? Because he has turned into someone completely different. This is, again, Zoran Mamdani. Listen.
Is a property tax increase. This would effectively be a tax on working and middle-class New Yorkers who have a median income of $122,000.
Wow. So now, just a couple of months after he was voted into office and then takes office, he is looking to raise the property taxes. And, you know, I got a little bit of criticism from people who didn't like the fact that I was, you know, sort of giddy because I was looking forward to, you know, New York becoming an even bigger train wreck than it is. But when I woke up this morning and I saw this, I was like, well, you know what? New York voted for this. This is clearly what New York wants. And what have we all been saying about Zoran Mamdani? We've all been saying this is what the Democrats ultimately want to do, is to have this wicked, horrific turn towards socialism. And so let's see how it goes. That is exactly what I said. If socialism is going to work, then let's give it the biggest stage in America to see how it goes. Well, so far with Zoran Mamdani, it's not so good.
The second path also requires us to raid our reserves. It would mean withdrawing $980 million from our city's rainy day fund in fiscal year 2026 and $229 million from the Retiree Health Benefit Trust in fiscal year 2027.
Yeah. So for the city of New York, they bring this guy in. Think about this. And he wanted to give the city council a raise. That was another one.
Oh, it's still on the table.
Still on the table? So for the city of New York, they bring Mamdani in. No experience in running a business. No real experience in running a government. No real experience in anything, really. Did we figure out? The only thing that we figured out about Zoran Mamdani is that he was a bad rapper. Like, he didn't really have any real job.
He's a Nepo baby.
He's a Nepo baby. That's exactly right. So now New Yorkers is going to end up, they're going to end up paying the price here's some details. Here's what he wants to do. Zoran Mamdani, and again, New York, they can wallow in it. He wants to pass a $127 billion budget plan, which includes massive property tax increases. The rates would go as high as 9.5%. So the funny thing is, he wants to raise property taxes to make things more affordable in the in the city of New York. And so Democrats are now freaking out because their grand experiment with socialism is completely falling apart. Because people in New York are beside themselves angry. Now, we'll see if he actually does it, but this is what he wants to do.
Did you see what Mr. Wonderful had to say about that?
No. Do you have the audio?
No, it was actually just something that I think he wrote on social media. He said that Zoran Mamdani is going to go down as being the world's greatest real estate agent because everybody's moving out.
Everybody's moving out. That is what's happening, or at least what is going to happen. So, you know, when you want to raise property taxes to make things more affordable, obviously those two things, they don't blend together. Democrats, again, freaking out. Democrats across the state believe that he is too radical. See, we saw this. The governor, Kathy Hochul, she was worried about him because she thought that he was too radical. You know what it is, Joan and Sam? It is a really bad week for the radical socialist Democrats because you have AOC that had a disastrous time in Munich, right? Those clips were going viral. And now you have the train wreckery of Zoran Mamdani. And so all I can say is we told you so. They say the tax increase would disproportionately target many lower income homeowners.
But they want to give city council members a 16% raise, all 50 of them?
Wow. You see? And we see the same thing going on in Virginia with Abigail Spanberger. We don't need to go through that story again, but the same thing is happening there.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, he promised all of these things, freezing the rent, universal child care, city grocery stores, $30 minimum wage. By the way, none of this has happened yet. City-funded trans procedures, sanctuary city status, of course, that is maintained. But these are just some of the things that he wanted to do, Joan.
You know what he has managed to end up doing?
What's that?
Leaving all the trash behind in the streets. There's been no trash pickup. Now they're having extra problems with rats.
Did you hear what happened with the poop in the streets?
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
So in New York, they had a heavy snowfall. And so the snow melts, and what is left behind is all of this poop in the streets. And apparently it's human poop.
Yeah.
So I guess it's all the homeless people. Is that what's going on? I mean, just like in San Francisco, they had the same thing. Somebody tweeted out, I don't remember who it was. It may have been J.D. Vance. But somebody tweeted out that Mamdani might want to check in with Gavin Newsom because they're really familiar with poop maps in California. And it's disgusting. And so now, and you're right, what is the problem with the trash pickup in New York? There's a sanitation, is it a sanitation strike? I saw that, and they, for whatever reason, can't get the trash picked up. So there's trash everywhere. And the rats are like the size of cats. I mean, it's disgusting. So this is interesting. One New Yorker, well, I can't get to it now. After the traffic, I'm going to get to what one New Yorker angry about all of this has to say about one Zoran Mamdani. Coming up straight ahead. It is coming up on 8:15. Time to check the roads on WTN. As far as your weather goes, mostly cloudy today, a high of 62, and possible showers this afternoon. By the way, also remember, what he wants to do. He wants to raise taxes or put a surcharge on the millionaires by about 2% in the city. That would require state approval. And so far, the state legislature and Kathy Hochul, they're not real keen on that idea. You know, it's really interesting. And, you know, we've seen this amongst conservatives as well. I mean, Kash Patel and Pam Bondi, I'm talking to you. So it's real easy to make all these promises and talk big, right? Well, that's what Zoran Mamdani did when he was on the campaign trail, making all of the promises that I just mentioned. Only now that he's in a position of power, he simply can't do everything that he promised to do. Now, apparently the problem with the sanitation is that because of, I guess, the snow and the ice, they have not been able to pick up all of the trash in New York. New York City Council Speaker Julie Menem and City Council member Linda Lee, chair of the Finance Committee, criticizing Mamdani's plan, saying this at a time when New Yorkers are already grappling with an affordability crisis, dipping into rainy day reserves, which is part of what he wants to do, and proposing significant property tax increases, which is also what he wants to do, should not be on the table whatsoever, they said in a statement. So even the Democrats in New York are going after Mamdani. And listen, this is why some of the Democrats out there didn't want to support the guy, because they realized, and we talked about this before he was even elected. If I remember right, I had a whole list of things that he could do and most of the things that he could not do, that he would need the partnership with the state legislature. He would need the partnership with the governor for the state of New York or city council, et cetera. And so the one thing that he can do is really screw the low-income people in New York by raising their property taxes a lot. And so one New Yorker posted this on the socials. He is angry because of all of the immigrants that have come into New York that, by the way, he is now paying for. Listen.
A third world dumping ground. So it is basically a place where every low IQ, semi-literate person from all over the planet is going to get dumped into because they can get, government money, they can get resources, they can get free whatever. And when you look at the election of Zoran Mamdani, if native-born Americans were counted solely in the vote in that election, Cuomo would have won.
Fact check true. One poll found that Cuomo would have won resoundingly if it was only native-born New Yorkers. But Mamdani comes in, right? And by the way, just real quick, I love how he talks about how New York has become a third world dumping ground. I mean, again, fact check true. I was in New York, last year? And there was a lot of evidence of a dumping ground. I did see the urine. I saw the poop. I saw all of the homeless people. I mean, all of that stuff. And we see the same thing in Minnesota. What did I call it?
Somalia.
Thank you, Joan. Somalia.
Mini Somalia.
But Mamdani comes in. He starts talking about a bunch of free stuff, right? Slick talking with heavy social media, and he wins. And so I love how the guy says low IQ, third world dumping ground, because that is exactly what has been going on.
So Mamdani, 45% of the people that voted for him are literally not from this country. And a large percentage of people that are in New York City at this point are not from this country, and that number is only growing and growing and growing. It's like only going to get worse. So what I think a lot of people really need to start coming to terms with is the fact that kind of like old school, glamorous, New York City, like you can still find pockets of it, of course. You can still go see Broadway, Fashion Week is still here. All of those things are still here, and they're not going away. But for the most part, it has turned into, and will continue to turn into, basically a dumping ground for everyone from the third world. And I'm sorry to say, guys, it ain't going back.
I mean, listen, he's right. And this is happening all over the place, right? Again, look at Minnesota. Sort of the same thing, where you have all of these Somalis, right, who are incredibly active politically. That's what happened in New York as well. You know, these folks, they go to the meetings, they advocate for what they're wanting, they're demanding special treatment, they go out and they vote as a voting bloc, and that's why everybody kisses their collective butt, because they are active. Why do you think Tim Walz, why do you think all of these politicians, Jacob Fry, Keith Ellison, why do you think they were kissing the butt of the Somalis? Because the Somalis go out there and they arrive in Minnesota, and they do become politically active to the point where they are one of, if not the most influential voting bloc in the state of Minnesota, certainly in the city of Minneapolis. That's what's going on. That's why the Democrats want to bring in all of these, and have bringing in all of these illegal aliens. And whether we're talking about illegal aliens, whether we're talking about migrants, whatever you want to call them. But this is the Democrats. And if New York is their example, let in as many foreigners as possible, get them to citizenship, make them naturalized citizens, register them to vote, they'll vote for the free stuff. They'll vote for the slick-talking guy that's promising a bunch of free stuff. The Democrat Party offers. What's that?
Who has a $258,000 a year salary as it is?
Yeah. Yep. These cities are then going to basically self-destruct. It seems like that's what's going to happen to me. And yeah, you're right. You're going to have all these people that are going to be leaving the city of New York. And again, I told you I was going to do a Mamdani watch, where let's see how he manages to further destroy the city of New York as we go along. Because, you know, the guy that was, campaigning like this.
It's true. As your next mayor, I will freeze your rent.
Paid for by Zoran for NYC.
Is now demanding all kinds of things, including more money for property taxes. And this is a situation, all the things that he wants to pay for, right? Universal child care, city grocery stores, $30 minimum wage, taxes on millionaires and billionaires, city-funded trans procedures, all of that stuff. And here's the sad thing. For that guy that was, walking the streets of New York and talking about how you've got all of these migrants that have come to New York, and they're the ones that voted for Mamdani, they'll continue to vote for him. Because he's slick talking and he's offering a bunch of free stuff and he's a foreigner.
Well, and a lot of them think he's going to somehow integrate Sharia law into how New York City operates.
There's that too. There's another story about that. Maybe I'll try to do that coming up next. It is 8:23 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. 615-737-9986 is the number, is the super text line. If you want to chime in, you're always welcome. Joan's got the news coming up at 8:30. Joan.
Yeah, a threat posted in a porta potty shut down a construction site yesterday. We've got details about that coming up at 8:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you very much. 8:23. This is interesting. CNN developing story. DOJ lists hundreds of prominent people named in Epstein files. How is that a prominent story? We had that on like Monday.
Yeah.
No, I'm asking a question. Like, is there something new? I'm looking at CNN. We literally were talking about that on Monday.
Yeah.
So it's not developing. Donald Trump also out there saying that he has been totally exonerated. I believe that he has. Unless there's something that I'm missing, Trump has been exonerated from the Epstein files. This whole thing is backfiring on the Democrats in epic fashion. And as our ailing friend Chris Hand, who is out today, Brian's filling in, I'm here for it. All right, 8:23. King and Associates, when was the last time your insurance company actually shopped around for you? At King and Associates Insurance, that is exactly what they do every single day, and that's what they're going to do for you. Dan Mandis here. Instead of sticking you with one company's prices, King & Associates, they are going to search dozens of top-rated carriers to find the best home and auto coverage at the best possible rates, because no two families are the same, and your insurance shouldn't be either. Now, maybe your premiums have crept up. Maybe you've added a teen driver, or maybe it's just time to stop overpaying. King & Associates compares options side by side to make sure that you get maximum protection without breaking your budget. And the best part, they do all the shopping for you. No hassle, no long forms, no hours on hold, just real savings, real coverage, and real people who actually care. King & Associates Insurance, whether it is your home, your car, or everything you've worked so hard for. Let King & Associates find you the right coverage at the right price. Give them a call, 615-321-8121, 615-321-8121 today, or visit tkinginsurance.com. King & Associates Insurance, where smart money shops. .825 Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. And I got to tell you, if high interest rate credit cards are killing you and they're sucking the life out of your finances, well, Loan Pronto can help you. It is time to say no more. Let Loan Pronto tap the equity in your home and get the cash you need now so you can pay it all off. That's right, Dan Mandis here. Now, Corey and Jack called Loan Pronto. In a matter of days, they had $160,000. They kept their 3% mortgage intact and didn't even need an appraisal. And with all that cash, they wiped out all of their credit cards and a couple of car loans as well, saving $2,000 a month in the process. Now, you can do it too. LoanPronto.com, their rapid equity loan program, can get you $100,000, $200,000, or even $500,000 in cash. Now, Chloe and Ethan did just that as well, consolidated all of their high-interest debt into one super low monthly payment, giving them an extra $1,000 a month. Imagine, pay off all those credit cards, slash your monthly payments, breathe easier, and get your life back. Interest rates are at a 3-year low. Call Loan Pronto right now at 615-499-5780, 615-499-5780, loanpronto.com. Tell them Dan told you to reach out. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166-1781. Visit NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Good morning. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. A bomb threat shut down construction of a steam plant in Stewart County yesterday. This was the site of the TVA Cumberland Fossil Plant on Cumberland City Road.
Deputies say a note was left on the wall of a portable bathroom. The threat was very detailed, according to authorities, so workers were evacuated from the site just in case. A bomb-sniffing dog along with a drug-detecting robot were brought in.
That's Channel 4's Danielle Ledbetter. No bombs were found. The construction resumed, and the sheriff's office says it hasn't identified a suspect just yet. In Trousdale County, a captain with the sheriff's department has been indicted on official misconduct and sexual battery charges. The TBI, said it began investigating 44-year-old Matthew Wright after he was accused of assaulting a woman. He's been booked into the Trousdale County Jail on a $10,000 bond. And it's been 5 years since Ashley Babbitt was shot to death by a Capitol police officer during the January 6th riot. Well, now the 35-year-old Air Force and National Guard veteran is finally getting full military funeral honors. A letter to her husband and mother says the Air Force has reversed a decision by the Biden administration. Undersecretary of the Air Force Matthew Lohmeyer saying a new investigation found Ashley Babbitt was shot by Michael Byrd despite being unarmed, with her hands up in the air, empty and in plain view of Byrd and 4 armed officers behind him. Her family has already come to a $5 million settlement with the U.S. government over wrongful death claims. Market numbers brought to you by Beacon Capital Management, online at beaconcm.com. 8:31 here, stocks beginning to trade, and the Dow Jones Industrials up 50, NASDAQ gaining 75, S&P 500 index plus 17. That's the latest news, traffic, and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Thank you, Joan. 8:32 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. The Wellness Institute of Nashville. You know, this is a great company, and I have been going to them for a long time. You know, when I first came to Nashville, I was riddled with chronic back and neck pain. They helped fix me right up with the help of non-surgical spinal decompression therapy. They did that for me, and they can do that for you as well. Dr. Kevin Mitchell and all the pain pros at the Wellness Institute of Nashville, they can help you, again, with non-surgical spinal decompression therapy. And here's the great news. Right now, it is 47% off. That's right, 47% off non-surgical spinal decompression therapy from the Wellness Institute of Nashville. So check them out. That phone number is 615-246-5009, 615-246-5009. The website, painisbad.com. You can experience also robotic lasers, anti-gravity machines, cryo machines, stem cell stimulation machines, all right here at the Wellness Institute of Nashville. And don't forget, non-surgical spinal decompression right now, when you mention my name, 47% off, 615-246-5009. The website, painisbad.com. $8:34, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, Joan, real quick.
Yeah.
I wanna play a game. This is gonna be really lame because my day is going so well so far. True or false? Okay, because there's a lot of like fake stories out there.
Yeah.
True or false? And people can play the game on Super Talk TV too, and also on the Super Text line. In New York, because I've seen this on the socials, in New York, they are playing the call to prayer, the Muslim call to prayer. True or false?
In New York City?
In New York City. Okay, so just hold it right there.
Okay.
Because I was trying to figure it out too, because I want to make sure that I don't get, pulled into some sort of, internet AI fakery kind of story.
They do it in Dearborn, Michigan. I know that.
Oh, I know that. Are they starting to do it in New York? We're going to talk about that and a whole lot more straight ahead. Nashville's Morning News. Dan Mandis here, lifelong dog owner, and I've seen all kinds of behaviors with my animals, and I bet that you have too. If you have a dog that needs some behavior training, my buddy Jeff and his crew at Ridgeside K9 Nashville, they can help. Now, I do call these folks the dog whisperers. They've helped thousands of dogs and their owners over the last 25 years solve behavioral issues, and they can help you. Aggression, potty problems, anxiety, or basic obedience, they can help you help your precious pup with just about anything. Now, what I love about Ridgeside Canine Nashville is that they believe that owner education is just as important as dog training. And long-term success with your dog begins with you. And Ridgeside Canine Nashville, they've got a lifetime support guarantee. Yes, they are there for you 24/7. So call Jeff today, 615-878-0380. Trust me, friends, your dog is worth it. 615-878-0380, rsk9nash.com. The letter K, the number 9, rsk9nash.com. Ridgeside Canine Nashville, veteran-owned, proven results, and guaranteed for life.
In Antioch on eastbound 24 this morning at Hickory Hollow Parkway, watch for a crash there. It's in the construction backup. Pegram on 40, the eastbound lanes at McCrory Lane. There's road work with the left lane blocked off. In Laverne, a crash, Laverne Couchville Pike at just south of Maxwell Road. And Murfreesboro Pike in Antioch, the scene of a crash right there at Hobson as well. Now, keep in mind that in Brentwood, you've got an accident on Concord Road at Nolensville Pike. 40 westbound in Mount Juliet. It's just past Mount Juliet Road that you'll find another accident scene. And then 65 north in Berry Hill at I-440. That's the scene of another crash. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.838, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. No Chris Hand today. Chris is out ailing. I don't know. Did he talk about how he wasn't feeling good yesterday?
I don't remember him saying anything. I knew he wasn't feeling good, but
he was not feeling. He sounded fantastic on the air, as he always does, but he wasn't feeling well. So luckily here at WTN, we have the apparently never going to actually retire Brian Wilson is going to be filling in for Chris today from 9 to 12. That's always great news. All right, so.
I emailed Chris a pick-me-up, by the way.
You emailed Chris a pick-me-up?
Yeah.
What is that?
You emailed him us doing the recitation of Swalwell's poem, didn't you?
I heard my friend is feeling bad, and I wanted to make sure he had something to cheer him up, because laughter is the best medicine.
I cannot get you two off of this. Like, this is just so you people know, this is the power that I have on my own show. I've specifically told Joan and Sam not to mention the segment at 5:35 where we had an ill-fated segment where we decided to read Eric Swalwell's erotic poetry from when he was like 22 years old. And yeah, I'll admit it was cringeworthy. And I'll admit that I told Sam not to mention it again. And for the love of all that is holy, don't podcast it. And
it's already up there. It's been uploaded. I didn't isolate the story like I did for Chris. But if you missed it, you want to go check it out.
No.
Where all the podcasts are available. It's in the 5 o'clock hour. I bet it'll be the most downloaded hour of today.
I certainly hope not. It's a terrible segment.
Sorry, let me restart. Kissing till veins.
Oh, Joan.
Imploded and exploded with blood.
I'm just gonna you know what?
down
Actually, the way that she's going, I'll just let her speak. I actually have nothing for the segment. No, totally kidding. All right, real quick. So if you want to listen to that, go ahead. But whatever. All right. So real quick. True or false? Joan, true or false? The Muslim call to prayer is being aired, if you will.
If you're bringing it up,
Played in New York.
it must be true.
Sam, I say it's true.
I say yes.
All right. So the three of us say it is true. It turns out, fact check, true.
Ugh.
And especially apparently in Brooklyn.
Yeah. So since August 2023, under Eric Adams, New York City updated guidelines to allow mosques to broadcast the Adhan without a special permit on Fridays and during sunset prayers throughout Ramadan. But apparently, under Mamdani, there are widespread reports and resident complaints indicating an expansion to more frequent broadcasts up to 5 times a day in certain neighborhoods, including the early morning calls as early as 5 a.m. in areas like Manhattan, Brooklyn, Astoria, and others.
And people are freaking out because it's really loud and it is annoying. I mean, look, if you're Muslim, that's what you guys do. But, I mean, people are like, it's loud and it's bothersome. And by the way, there's a lot of people in New York who are freaking out because you've got a Muslim mayor and you have all of these, Joan still remembers 9/11.
Yes. I mean, that to me in New York City is a threat. It's a threat. It says we're back. We're here. We're still here. And we're coming after you. That's what it says to me. In New York City, to do that is a threat.
Absolutely. And they're taking over is what that message is. And of course, as you know, and as I know, this is something where if you dare say anything, then you're called a racist and a Islamophobe and, all the rest of that.
Call me whatever you want.
Oh, I don't care.
Yeah. Yeah.
I absolutely don't care. There's another story, and Sam, are you fleeing? You were going to do this thing with Colbert, where are you hip to what's going on with this Colbert controversy, Joan?
Yeah.
So I'm going to play a little piece of audio, and then we're going to kind of delve into it because, believe it or not, even CNN is talking about this, where Stephen Colbert literally lied about this interview. So he is interviewing a Democrat who is running for the Senate in Texas. Guy's name is Tarico. I believe his name is Tarico. And this is Stephen Colbert blaming Donald Trump for only being able to play this interview online as opposed to on television. This is how it sounded.
James Tallarico.
Now listen to Colbert lie.
Thank you. Now, here's the thing. I don't usually say this to a guest, but if people are watching this right now, it's because they found us online on YouTube. I did an act of the show that's on tonight explaining why. It's not the first time you've caused some drama. FCC opening probe into The View after appearance by Tallarico. Do you mean to cause trouble?
I think that Donald Trump is worried that we're about to flip Texas.
So the whole thing is about Colbert saying that Donald Trump was not going to allow the interview, or there is going to be a demand of, it's all about equal time. And here in radio, we certainly know about equal time. Tallarico is running against Jasmine Crockett for the Texas Senate race. And so Tallarico, they say, is far more electable than Jasmine Crockett in a general election. So Colbert didn't want to have Jasmine Crockett on to provide her with equal time. He only wanted Tallarico on because he wants Tallarico to win the primary so that then Jasmine Crockett wouldn't get any airtime on Colbert. So that's basically what happened. And Colbert is blaming Donald Trump. You just heard him say this is the interview that Donald Trump didn't want you to see, and he's lying to the audience.
Yeah.
It was actually CBS that pulled the interview. It was CBS that said, no, we're not going to do this. If you're not going to give Jasmine Crockett equal time, then we're not going to allow the Tallarico interview to air on television. And so Kimmel, they're all the same to me.
Yeah.
Colbert is caught in a lie. And it's like, do you not have any actual, scruples whatsoever? Because he's literally lying to his audience, which, by the way, he's done before. And I'm no doubt he'll do again. But he knows all about equal time. He's a broadcaster. We know about equal time. And so for CBS came out and they literally confirmed that no, it had nothing to do with Donald Trump per se. It had nothing to do with the FCC per se. It was because he didn't want to give equal time to Jasmine Crockett. That's what I think I've got that story right. And now even CNN is covering it.
Yeah. Sounds like he didn't want Jasmine Crockett maybe to win the race.
Well, and here's the thing. And CNN was just talking about this. Jasmine Crockett in one poll is actually leading this guy Tallarico. And so, I mean, Colbert is doing everything he possibly can to get the, I'm going to air quote this, more electable or acceptable Democrat to give him the airtime and the publicity, if you will, getting his message out and, not giving Jasmine Crockett that equal time. And so now CBS basically just called out Colbert for lying. Bottom line is Colbert claimed that Trump's FCC blocked his interview, but CBS confirmed that is false. It was actually about equal time rules. Because he doesn't want to give Jasmine Crockett any opportunity to get her message out. So, I mean, I don't know why I'm surprised. And by the way, he doesn't care. He doesn't care because Colbert, his show, it's already been canceled, has it not?
Yeah.
I don't know when.
He's got a long funeral dance to get there.
A long funeral dance.
Yeah.
That's nice.
I mean, it's going to be a while before it comes off the air. But yeah, he's done.
Yeah. And 1701 says, I didn't hear the lie. Well, the lie was that he said this is the interview that Donald Trump doesn't want you to see. And Donald Trump had nothing to do with it. I mean, honestly, I think that for Colbert, yes, okay. So 2531 says that he is indeed retiring in a couple of months. So anyway, it's something that for the Democrats, it doesn't really surprise me. It actually also wouldn't surprise me that Colbert wants to skirt the equal time rules because that is what the Democrats do. They cheat. And we keep seeing that with the Save America Act and illegal aliens and all of the things that the Democrats like to do. We talked about it earlier where they, bringing in all of the illegal aliens or the migrants into the blue cities so that they'll have more representation in the House of Representatives. We could also go down the road of, having more. We saw this in New York, not to, repeat too much of the previous segment or segments, but in New York, where you have these all of these migrants or immigrants or illegal aliens or whoever ultimately then they become naturalized and they vote for Mamdani, who is out there promising a whole bunch of free stuff. And then he's out there to third world New York, make it a third world country. And that's where it's going now because of all of the crap in the streets. Now they're talking about higher property taxes. It goes on and on. So there you go. I mean, it seems pretty simple to me. And people are chiming in on the super text line, and people, yeah, they see what Colbert was trying to do. By the way, John in Lawrenceburg says, "So glad I missed the 5:35 segment. Smut."
Oh, come now.
Do you know what's so funny about that 5:35? What's so funny about the 5:35 is that we did today. Is that some people called it the best segment we've ever done. Other people called it the worst.
See, but the thing is, it was so off the cuff. And that's what makes radio fun.
That's exactly right. You never know what's going to happen.
Right.
That is exactly right.
And you know what? If it, like, thinking back, now I wish I read it. Like Sam had a great read on it. You know, he had that low.
Well, Sam went kind of dirty.
Smarmy.
Sam went, basically porn line.
Yeah, he did.
Kind of delivery.
Shocker.
I, of course, thank you, Mason. I, of course, was my usual awkward self who, can't.
And I think I read it like a newscaster. I would have changed my delivery.
Well, you know what? Maybe you and Brian can do it together, Joan.
I think Brian will be good if we don't.
And then Brian gets on at 7 o'clock hour. He starts reading it. When I specifically said, no mas.
It was so funny. I loved it.
Anyway, so that tells you how very little control I actually have over my own show. And that's all fine, well, and good. 0181. It was crap, and we're still talking about it. I know. I don't understand. Colbert did not retire. His show was taken off the air. Thank you.
Yeah, wow. He didn't retire. Did you say that?
I don't remember what I said, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Joan has been that kind of a show.
Yeah.
It started off rough, and it hasn't gotten any better. I lost my voice in the middle of a Window Nation commercial, and, on and on it goes. But you know what, Joan? You know what the good news is?
What's that?
At least we don't have to listen to the call of prayer like they do in New York.
Yes.
At least there is that.
Yes.
It is 8:51 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. By the way, the Stake of the Union, if you would please go and purchase some tickets, that would be great. It's going to be happening at Legends Steakhouse. You're going to have me. You know what? If you want to corner me and you want to tell me how much you hated that smut-filled segment in the 5:35 hour of today's show, you can tell me in person. All you got to do is buy some tickets to the State of the Union or find me at Starbucks later. Anyway, go to 997WTN.com. We're all going to watch the State of the Union together. We call it the Stake of the Union. I'm going to be there. Chad's going to be there. Chris is going to be there. Hopefully he'll be feeling better by then. And you've got Matt Murphy's show. He's going to be there as well. And I'm really looking forward to it. If you want to check it out, feel free, 997WTN.com to buy tickets. And 9656. The train wrecks are always entertaining to watch. Yes, you can actually probably see me squirm at least once or twice in this here radio broadcast. Somebody also asking that Joan should read the news in the sexy poem voice.
Oh, yeah. No, I think
You know,
no.
Joan, we're going to save that for a podcast.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, we could do it for a podcast. And somebody asking a serious question, when are you going to be able to get the ability to show video on YouTube again?
Yeah.
I don't know.
What a great question.
Not even Mason knows, and Mason's in the know.
Yeah, I'm working hard trying to get it back up. Me and the IT team are trying to make sure we can get all this stuff squared away and fixed, but it's taking a little longer than we wanted, unfortunately.
Now, is it true, the rumors that I heard, that we were ordering the RAM straight from China?
I don't know if that's true. I think we already got the RAM last week. It was supposed to technically be fixed last Wednesday. RAM is not the issue that we're dealing with, unfortunately.
What's the issue we're dealing with now? Like, just curiously.
A computer from 1965.
All right, Joan, you're not
There's your
helping.
answer. No, she's basically right, though.
Okay.
RAM is not going to help run the stream stronger.
All right, anyway, here's the bottom line. People smarter than me are working on it. And hopefully they'll get it back up soon. The good news is you can watch the radio show in action anyway, and you can still hear the audio from the video. 8:54 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Joan's got the news at 9. Joan.
Yeah, coming up here, the coming consequences for cities that don't comply with immigration laws. Also, some scary moments for flyers on an early morning flight today. That's coming up at 9 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Joan. 8:54. Dan Mandis here, Generator Super Center. Now, listen, if there's one thing that we've learned over the last month or two, it's that we simply cannot count on NES or the government for anything, which is why I've reached out to my friends at the Generator Super Center to start figuring out my needs for a backup home standby generator. your power goes out and these generators turn your power right back on. Now, I learned how important generators are during power outages during my time in Indiana, and of course, in the last several weeks as well. Not so subtle reminder as to the power of Mother Nature. So if you've been talking about whole home backup generators with your family, talk about it with the pros at the Generator Supercenter, the nation's #1 Generac generator dealer. This is not only a huge investment in your home, but also your family's safety. They do feature expert installation, 24-hour monitoring as well. They're not going to leave you in the dark, and yes, financing is available. 615-879-1952, 615-879-1952, Generator Supercenter of Nashville.com. $8:59, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Thank you for listening. Check out the podcast page, all things Nashville and Tennessee with Speaker of the House Cameron Sexton spoke to him at 6:35. The podcast is up. Check it out. Also, Stephen Bucci on Donald Trump and the negotiations with Iran. That is also a podcast. We'll see you tomorrow on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.